Okay.
Episode 1. So how do you guys want to do this? You want to do some character introductions first? I'll take that as a yes. All right. Well,
I think Madeline and Raylan know each other,
Yeah.
and one of us has a note in our pocket.
okay. Yeah. So I forgot how the what did the player guide say as far as you guys coming to Wati?
We're here to respond to the call for a group to go tomb diving, right?
Yeah, they're opening the tombs and releasing the availability there on like a lottery system or whatever. And so, basically, I think the expectation was you show up, you get a group together, and you enter the lottery.
Okay. Yeah. That's what it says. I just found that paragraph here in the book. So it does say that PCs are already present in Wati and should be acquainted with one another, and obviously have an interest in exploring the tombs of Wati's necropolis. Does anyone not have an interest in doing that? Just take it off rails first.
just
first
leave.
session.
Just be out of here. No, I think that's what I came here for.
I will say that my interest in the opening of the tombs isn't so much tied to monetary gains, but more as to why the Church of Pharasma would do that in the first place.
Do you worship Pharasma?
No.
Okay. The adventure assumes that the PCs have already formed an adventuring party and have registered for the lottery. Do you guys have a adventuring party name?
I think we need to meet with Aaron's character who slipped a note in all of our pockets.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that was the organization.
Okay.
Hey, I just came up with that on the spot, but that works for me.
So yeah, I guess as Raylan and Madeline walk along, Raylan discovers something in her pocket. Says, "Huh, what's this?" Pulls it out and reads it. Shows it to Madeline. And says, "Well, I guess we should go. It'll be interesting, if nothing else."
Indeed, this will be our inn. We will need a full group. It seems these tombs are quite dangerous.
That's what I keep hearing. And we will plan to attend the little get-together.
So what does the note say that you had?
It's in the RP text. Let's see.
We all got the same note.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't remember where that was. Aaron, you want to tell us what the note says?
Yeah. As soon as I find it.
I feel like I'm blind. I don't see the note in here.
Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot in the RP text, but
I think it might have been pre-RP.
Yeah, it's
It all
before
says
the
it all
table,
says
yeah.
you seem the capable lot. I know you're new here, and I know you're looking to be part of the lottery. For that, you're gonna need some allies. Meet in the suite at the top of Tooth and Hookah. At your leisure, I will be waiting. That's what it says. To meet at the top of whatever I just said.
Tooth and
Tooth
Hookah.
and Hookah.
Cutscene to later that evening at the suite at the Tooth and Hookah.
Yeah, I can actually give you guys a handout on the Tooth and Hookah.
Nice.
All players. Alright, it should pop up under, I don't know how it shows for you guys, but notable locations, Tooth and Hookah, under the player drop down in Roll20.
Yep.
There's a good bit of info there. Just a little background and the cost for rooms and things like that.
Cool, cool.
You don't have to read it right now, but if you guys just want to...
Yeah, well, I'm actually just trying to change my picture on my Discord picture because it says STFU right now. I want to change it, and I can't figure it out.
Can't be streaming that nonsense.
I know. I'm trying. Someone help me not be stupid.
I cannot help you with that. I don't know how to do that myself.
Same.
Alright, anyway. I'll figure it out as we go.
Just like the game.
Well, I mean, if you guys want to play this out, it's really a little hands-off for me at this point.
Raylan will propose to Madeline that we go together and at least investigate this mysterious person who could be an ally.
Yes, very well. Yeah, we'll go to the Tooth and Hookah. So who do we see there waiting for us?
You have the Tooth and Hookah, whoever the people there are. You're gonna have to come up to the suite.
Oh, that's our intention. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. We're going to the suite. Don't you worry about that.
Yeah. So you guys go up and you knock on the door, and what greets you doesn't match your picture, but it's the best I had. Is you see someone wearing just the desert attire with like jewels, as though they were based in Egypt for us. You know, they're gaudy and kind of glowing, like golden. It's all fake gold. Long, silky red hair, and she just greets you. Ah. And this is Raiden and Madeline, right? Just getting your
Yes.
Yeah.
names correct. Okay.
Raylan.
And she goes, I see the two of you have joined us and you've met each other at the docks, I take it?
Yes, it seems that you would know that as you secreted this into my pocket, and I tossed the note down on a table.
Ah, that would be me. See, I too am looking up. Where are my manners? Come in. She opens the door and let everyone come in. And she's rented out the suite. I don't know how big this suite is, but I imagine it's big enough for a few people. Quite a few people. At a golden night, I think is what it was.
Got the bottle service room, huh?
Yeah, there's a suite on the roof of 4 rooms surrounding a central open-air courtyard that contains a gazing pool and some low couches.
Yeah, so Madeline will come in, and her hair is like perfectly pulled back in a ponytail. Like there's not like a hair out of place. Like her attention to detail and like her dress and wear is like very highly done. You can tell that she has like a morning ritual to prepare herself. And she's wearing like I guess was it like a burqa, but it's like pulled down that she picked up at port. You can tell it's like pretty freshly worn. She wasn't expecting the hot climate here. And she just everything about her is very calculated and very with much thought that of what others would think of her. So she stands very rigid, very uptight, but she's like very much watching you, just to kind of get the feel of like what your true intentions are for inviting us here.
Well, I am fully expecting a couple of others. Shall we wait? Have a drink?
Yes, very well. It was with the long ride over. Did I expect the weather to be as such as it is here. Is it always this dry?
Always. Well, there's the rainy season once a year for about a month, but that's long gone at this point.
And the heat? Oh, my goodness. Very well. I will become adjusted to it, I'm sure.
Of course. Help yourself to any beverages I have. Make yourself at home.
Yeah, she does. She sits down and partakes.
We'll just really just make nonchalant talk that doesn't really teach us about either one of us. Unless you decide to divulge information.
Yeah.
Oh, I am Torley. I suppose you wanted to know that, huh?
Pleasure to meet you. You've lived here for a long time.
Not here per se. I'm new to these lands such as you. I've been here a few months maybe.
And what interests you in these tombs?
Just discovering something new. Finding what lies beneath. Isn't that what we're all here for?
Not quite, but discovery is in itself often a service.
It's a fair point. But I noticed that you were both alone, and I have two others that were also alone. And we need to be several in order to enter the lottery.
And you'll see Filda just kind of push open the door and hobble in.
Madeline stands up and offers you her chair.
Oh, thank you, dearie.
Suppose I should have locked my door, but I knew you were coming.
Yes, I received your missive.
Excellent. I am Torley, and this is Raylan and Madeline. I introduce both of you without waiting for you to do it yourselves.
Yeah, I just nod.
Such pretty young things. Grithilda Weirdwood is my name. Ah, could use some refreshment for these old bones.
By all means, help yourself.
Okay, Weirwood, that is not Assyrian.
No, it is a family name.
And from where do you hail from?
Oh, land far from here.
I as well.
Rossi will arrive and she'll knock on the door and wait for it to be opened.
And I'll again greet you, open the door, and say, "Welcome, Rossi." Ah, it was you. Without looking, she called your name. Come in, come in. I take it you've got my note as well.
I did get this note, and she looks around the room. She's confused, but kind of eager. Rossi's a short, homely halfling, not particularly interesting to look at. But she seems to be very attentive and observant, taking in her surroundings and just being very cautious before she says or does anything or responds to anyone. It's pretty clear that she's a Wati native. Her skin's pretty dark. Spent a lot of time in the sun and the heat and is very comfortable in the environment, but maybe less comfortable in the a more expensive suite like we're in here.
Come in, have a drink, sit with the others. This is Raylan, Madeline, and Grithilda. I am Torley.
Oh, thank you. And she'll look at each person and and just kind of take them in mentally. We're trying to remember their names and look each person over before sitting down. She'll sit down and probably not partake in any of the wine or anything like that.
And as you make eye contact with Grithilda, she gives you a vivacious wink and a toothy grin.
All right.
Seems you have chosen quite wise with your sourcing of recruitment. Is this all of us?
This is everyone I am expecting. I see, Rossi, you're not taking to the drink. Can I help you with some water, perhaps?
Water would be lovely.
Alright, she gets up and reaches underneath the table that the different alcoholic beverages were on and finds just a pitcher of water and pours your glass of water.
Thank
I
you very
imagine
much.
we're all wondering what we're doing here today. I know you're all here for the same reason I am. That is to find a way to enter the lottery, and we cannot do it alone. I know each of you have your own strengths. I have my own strengths, as she, nods over in the corner where her bow is sitting. I think we can all be very, very useful to each other. I know you have questions. Feel free to ask.
How do we submit ourselves for this lottery?
Well, we take a name that we have to come up with together and submit that to, I don't remember what the name, the council. We'll go with that. But we need a name if we decide to work together. Here, I am.
That creativity is not my strong suit, as you seem to have well known. And she arches an eyebrow at you, Coralie, and she says, "But the name does not concern me over much. If you had one in mind, I'd be more than happy to go along with it."
What about the rest of you?
The name matters not. It'll be our actions that define us.
I certainly agree with that. Assuming we even get selected, the name's not going to matter.
But everything's in a name.
Perhaps we should go with Group 1.
Names taken.
Well, I noticed that we are all women here. Perhaps we could touch on our feminine prowesses.
Yeah. So he just kind of nods and gives you like this, yep, let's do that. My fingers are frantically working to come up with my own name, in case you guys haven't done it.
Can do a random name generator if nobody wants to come up with one.
I just did one, and the first listing is the Grim Dolphins. The second one is Dead Daughter Squadron.
Ooh.
There you go.
Ridiculous. The Standing Cats, Frosty Spear Emissaries. The world.
The Daughters of the Sand.
The Yellow Rose Thorns.
The Homely Roses.
How about the Roses Thorns?
I just came
The
up with
Holy Roses.
Homely
Yellow.
Roses.
Homely Roses.
Yellow
Yellow
Rose.
Rose Thorns.
Doesn't that have a monk connotation?
I'm as fine with that as anything,
Oh, you
I
might be
suppose.
right. The Kardashians.
The rose's thorns, perhaps. We are as deadly as we are beautiful.
Rossi just rolls her eyes.
Then do share your ideas there, Rossi.
Like I said, I don't care.
But you must come up with something that's from your people. What have you got? Shortwick.
This is a bit unknown, but with us being all women, if we took a name for one of the Assyrian deities, perhaps Isis. Yeah, I don't know.
I just heard ISIS. Perhaps ISIS?
Yeah, that's the Egyptian god.
Perhaps the Taliban.
Will be known as the Wilting Candles. It's settled.
The wilting candles.
I just kept typing words and then I found a combination that I liked.
Building candles. All right.
Add a character, unless you completely object to it, otherwise.
Sounds like no objections.
Alright. The Wilting Candles it is. Strong until lit, and then we burn brightly like the fire.
And eventually go out.
Don't we
And
all?
wilt into nothingness.
And you join your respective deity when that day comes, yes? Naomi Day would be happy to have you? Or Sarah and Ray you?
And what god is it that you seek?
I can't say that I seek a god. I seek to find my own path. And the
One
day
way or
my
the other.
candle burns out, we will see if I have found it.
They may soon find you, my friend.
That may be true. It may find me sooner than I wish to chase it, but so be it. That's the way of the world, is it not? We have a name. I know what you're all capable of.
Perhaps it is time we hear more of our host.
What would you care to hear? My story is
seem-
not one interesting to most.
Well, you seem to have scoped us out quite efficiently and chosen us for whatever reasons you may have for doing so, but perhaps you should tell us what your strengths are.
Ah, well, you see, did you ever see me in the dark? Did you ever see me in the shadow? Did you ever know someone was seeking information about you? That is my strength. To be unnoticed, to go unseen.
I see. Potentially a very useful skill.
I like to think so. And being from a desert city myself, this is all normal to me.
It will be good to have another semi-local with us, and I'll nod at Torley and
Rossi.
Rossi.
I think we know the deserts pretty well, right? Shortwick.
Yeah, well enough. I've lived here my whole life.
Alright. So this room is ours for the night. We can rest. I will head down and turn in our name. Feel free to stay. I'll meet you back here. We'll head out in the morning. Hopefully we can be one of the lucky few. She like winks at the group. So long.
Perhaps so.
And then I'll head out and I'll go to turn our name in as the wilting candles.
Yeah, there's really nothing to registration. They just need the names of the group, the names of the members, and then they give you a small token, which, if drawn at the ceremony, will give you your location on where you're going to go explore.
Cool. And they all sit quietly in the room until I get back.
As soon as she's gone, Raylan will turn to the others and say, "What do you make of this twirly?"
Something seems a bit amiss, I would agree. Perhaps she has some patron that has organized this, funded this expedition. But for what reason? I suppose we will soon find out.
Yes, I'd keep my eye on that one. And as I say that, one eye stares ahead while the other one rolls wildly.
Nice.
How difficult were you all to track down? I can't say I was too difficult to track down. I've been looking for a group to join the lottery with for quite some time.
I have not been here but nary a day. Yes, things have expedited quickly for me.
Well, having someone with that level of stealth will be quite handy in the dungeons, or in the crypts, I feel like.
Just keep your purses tight.
Oh, nobody's been in my purse in a long time.
So, Rossi, what can you tell us of the crypts, being that you're a local to this region?
The crypts themselves, not much, but the necropolis has always been fairly intriguing. I basically grew up in the shadow of it, fairly nearby in the Asp. When I was a young child, I used to sometimes sneak in, not into any of the tombs, mind you, but sneak in and wander the streets of the necropolis. But the tombs themselves have always been a very intriguing mystery. You don't hear that much from the explorers that that go in and come out. They tend to leave pretty quickly with whatever wealth they've made or knowledge they've gained. So unfortunately, I don't have too much to share. That's part of the reason I'm so interested in going and have been looking so desperately for a group to go with.
Let's see. Well, it will definitely be good to have a native along with us. I feel like that's perhaps an advantage that some other adventuring groups from afar perhaps will not have. Some, I fear, aren't even taking this venture all that seriously.
Well, they'll learn very quickly that they should. Well, I suppose I'll find a place to sleep until tomorrow.
Indeed. I'll nod to Grizzly as well. I shall retire. I will be ready early in the morning.
Yes, we will all need our rest for what is coming up, I'm afraid.
Okay. So everyone calls it for the night?
Tires in this lovely suite that Torley was so kind to pay for.
You're welcome.
It is very nice. All right, so if everyone's good, we will continue on.
Good here.
Yep,
Okay.
let's do it.
All right, so everyone has a nice, restful sleep. Starting pretty early in the morning. Sounds of the city getting busy. People walking around, getting ready for the opening ceremony of the lottery. Probably wakes most of you up unless you're particularly early riser.
I'm up early.
And it's pretty easy to find the crowds, the people who look like they're equipped to go on these adventures in the necropolis. So once you get all your things ready, gather up and start heading to what's called the Grand Mausoleum. That's where the ceremony will take place. So I'll just read this little blurb here. The bustling desert city of Wati is near bursting with excitement. Adventurers from every corner of the Inner Sea region have assembled here beneath the hot Osirian sun to explore the tombs of the city's necropolis, waiting only to be assigned their first sites for exploration. Surrounding the participants, the public has gathered to observe the ceremony as well. There's a festival-like quality in the air, and numerous street vendors are hawking goods and refreshments to participants and spectators alike. Some merchants have even brought what can only be considered adventuring gear to sell as last-minute convenience items to explorers, while others advertise that they'll buy recovered treasures and antiquities from those who visit their establishments. In front of the imposing edifice of the Grand Mausoleum, an immense awning has been erected between decorated pillars in the market to provide shade for the priests of Pharasma overseeing the lottery. Beneath the awning, 2 urns sit atop a table elevated a few feet above the ground on a wooden stage constructed for the event. The High Priestess of the Grand Mausoleum, Septi the Crocodile, sits behind the table while 2 acolytes confer with her at either side. So there's numerous adventure groups standing in this market in small clusters near the stage. Multiple nationalities, people from all over. Most of them keep to themselves, but some teams engage in quiet conversation with other teams, just kind of speculating on what they're hoping to see with the lottery. Let me get a little handout for Septi the Crocodile. All right, should be in everyone's journal. Does everyone see it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Sweet. Okay. So that's the one sitting up at the top. After some time, she finishes speaking with the acolytes that are near her, and she kind of waves her hand to get everyone to kind of be silent in the market. She begins with an invocation to the Lady of Graves, followed by a brief history of the founding of the necropolis, which I'll make that available as a handout as well, because there's a lot to it. If I can find it. All right, everyone should have the Wati history handout available.
Yep.
And then you can just look over that as you want. After she finishes the brief history, she says the following. Let the lottery begin. Although many of you have requested specific sites to explore, we must leave these matters to fate. The Lady of Graves is a far better judge of destiny than we of this mortal sphere. The gates of the necropolis will be open after the ceremony. Use this evening to prepare yourselves for the task ahead. Let these rules guide you in your endeavors in this holy place. Remember how this came to pass. Every slave's hut is a memorial in honor the departed. May you go with the lady's blessing. And shortly after she says this, you see the priests of the Grand Mausoleum start. Basically, people are just lining up. They're drawing the tokens, and if a token matches that group, they give them their site. So at some point, they draw a token that was similar to yours, that was given upon registration, and you'll need to send someone up to go retrieve. Basically, they give you a small map and a document that has the rules for the necropolis.
Sure, I'll go.
Which is
If that's
okay.
what you're looking for, yeah.
Yeah, no, we didn't need to like role play it out or anything. But yeah, basically, you bring up your token. They check the registration to ensure that you were actually registered, and they hand you the document with a small map of the location in the necropolis of where your first assignment is. So you get 3 assignments throughout this. You have to complete your first before you can get the second. Complete the second before you get the third. And the rules are in the handout. Basically, there's 3 rules that the priests of the Grand Mausoleum expect groups to follow. The High Priestess mentioned these in the initial opening ceremony speech, but that handout has them. Basically, the first one is, remember how this came to pass. The plague of madness was unleashed upon the city of Wati, while religious authorities were engaged in infighting. This rule is a reminder that the necropolis remains a holy place, and those who engage in needless conflict and banditry are not only criminals, but accursed. The second rule, every slave's hut is a memorial. Every structure within the necropolis is a testament to the people who lived and died in the city. Explorers must not desecrate or vandalize standing structures and tombs, but preserve them as the memorials they were intended to be. Some structures may be trapped or decrepit, but willful and unnecessary destruction will not be tolerated. Honor the departed, the third rule. The dead should be treated with dignity and respect. If the interred need to be disturbed to recover an antiquity or relic, they should be returned to their resting places carefully. It is understood that the ancient dead are often brittle, but there's no need for the contents of a sarcophagus to be summarily dumped on the ground. This rule does not apply to the undead or other abominations. Failure to comply with these rules can result in, but is not limited to, expulsion from the necropolis, a ban on continued exploration, seizure of recovered valuables, and arrest and prosecution by local authorities. In practice, the Church's ability to enforce these rules is almost negligible. Most members of Wati's city guard have no desire to patrol the necropolis, even if summoned by a priest. The Church does send experienced priests or members of its militant wing, the Voices of the Spire, into the necropolis to make spot inspections, but it's too woefully understaffed relative to the number of adventuring parties roaming the necropolis for this to be a strong deterrent. I think that part I should have left out. I think that was for the DM, but just ignore that. So those are the 3 rules that's in the handout there. After the ceremony concludes and the groups have gotten their tokens and their locations, you start seeing, the marketplace break up a little bit. People are running off towards the necropolis, buying last-minute supplies from the local vendors and heading off to their assignments. So the assignment that you guys got is called the Tomb of Akhentepe. You have a map. Let me see if I can pull it up here. I'm going to switch you guys over to the town map. Everyone can see this?
It's blank.
It's black.
for me.
Oh, I probably need to do this. How's that?
Yep, there you go.
Okay, cool. All right, so this is Wati. The map that you have has your tomb marked somewhere in this region, with some small directions, you know, going from the main gate, which is down here. The main gate into the necropolis. It has some directions to get there from the main gate. And also, like, a rough sketch of what you should be looking for once you get there.
And it's we're to find one specific item. Is that what our instructions are?
No, I mean, you can go in there and,
And just recover whatever.
yeah, antiques, valuables, yeah, things like that. As long as you follow those rules of not, you know, just, you know, destroying statues or, you know, things like that without good reason.
Right. And the Church of Pharasma, they expect this to be turned over to them.
No, I mean, you can sell
Okay.
whatever you want.
All right.
It's, think of it like licensed tomb raiding.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense.
Does it seem strange to anyone else that they would do this, forsaking all of the potential riches and knowledge for free? With
Yes.
no fee to be paid?
You're quite observant, really. This is my keen interest in the Church of Pharasma's doings of this. Something does not seem quite right.
But you see, I believe they opened up the necropolis in order to spark travel, commerce, people coming back to the city.
Are these clearly the people that you would want in and out of your city? And I like point to like a rough-looking like adventuring group.
Maybe not, but they bring money.
Yeah, I mean, look at that one over there. Some giant barbarian and a guy with 4 fingers.
Yes, but where are they going now?
Hell,
They're going to purchase supplies and goods at marked up prices, no doubt.
perhaps you are right. I wasn't aware Pharasma was the god of commerce, though.
A dying city, a dying people.
Perhaps there is something they seek specifically, and they need groups such as us to retrieve it for them.
This
We may
would
not
make
know their
sense.
intentions.
I caution you to be on your guard. Quite wise words there, Griselda.
Well, we have today to prepare. Do we have any preparations that we see we should make?
I am ready when you are.
Then was it our understanding that they're open today, or like we can go ahead and go, just jump right
Yeah.
in if we decide to?
Yeah, it's open after the ceremony ended.
Nice. Well, I'm game if y'all are.
I'm not wearing this armor in this hot sun for nothing.
Yes, let's get a move on before I get any older.
That can happen. I'm just kidding. I'm
Raylan
just kidding.
chuckles.
Yeah, let's just dive in. We're just gonna head straight to the necropolis. See if we can dive right into it. We're not gonna waste any time.
Okay. Cool. So you guys, you travel east. So the map that we're on is actually north is to the left there. So it's east, going towards the necropolis, and your tomb was on the eastern end of it. You see, as you go through, the streets are largely empty, and while the buildings are still standing and not too worn down looking, there's still piles of sand just from it being unkempt. They don't go through the city and clean up or anything like that. You see a couple adventuring parties, as you walk through the streets, trying to figure out their way into their own assignments, and you hear possibly some combat out in the distance or something. Maybe somebody's already run into something like that. But you otherwise have a peaceful trek through the necropolis on your way to the tomb of Akentepe. So following the directions that you were given from the priests, they were pretty spot on. You didn't really have any issues finding the tomb entrance itself. You come around the corner, and you see the building, and you're like, that's it. That's definitely the one that they gave us the directions for. A rectangular stone mausoleum sits alone in what appears to have once been an actual cemetery. The trunks of a few dead trees poke out of the sand around the tomb, and a hot breeze whistles through their desiccated branches. A set of massive stone double doors is affixed to the northern side of the structure, beneath a facade bearing the likeness of an Osirian man. Windblown sand is heaped around the crypt, partially burying the doors that lead within.
Great. Anybody bring a shovel?
Just for some more details, the doors themselves are 10 feet tall, appear to be made of solid stone, and there doesn't appear to be any visible handles or hinges.
Intriguing. I don't think I have a good tool for digging the doors out, but given that there are no handles, perhaps that is not even our concern at the moment.
Our concern is not digging out to get in here.
Well, there are no handles on the doors. What use is digging out handleless doors?
Maybe the doors are just gone. Maybe the handles are just gone. What do you propose? You think there's another entrance?
Does it look like the doors pull out to open or push in?
You guys can make a perception check or knowledge engineering if you have it.
I will detect evil on the door.
While he does that, I will detect magic on the door.
Okay. No signs of evil or magic. Did anyone else want to make a perception?
Yeah, perception.
Well, sure.
Nice.
Cool. Okay. Ooh, nice. All right, cool. So basically, between pretty much all of you, except for Grunthilda, who didn't really notice much, you notice that the doors is on concealed hinges and swings outward. There's telltale traces of mortar along the seams and jamb that has since crumbled or been chipped away, indicating that the doors were meant to be sealed permanently and not intended to be open again. You also notice signs of like a crowbar or a pry bar or something like that having been inserted between the doors at some point. Perhaps somebody illegally came in here to try and get through into this particular tomb. With how much sand there is, even if there was handles, you're not sure you'd be able to open it. You'd have to clear the sand away.
So back to a
ladies,
shovel
I guess
idea.
We're digging.
Yeah, I just set my gear down and either find some type of like flattened stone, and I start the work of shoveling this out.
Would it be faster if we just went back and got a shovel? Like,
if
bought
nobody
one?
has a shovel, it would definitely be a good idea to go buy one. Unless you want to dig by
alright,
hand.
you guys dig. I'm gonna go get a shovel. Unless nobody bought one, right?
No.
I do not have one.
Checking my gear to make sure. I have an umbrella. I didn't buy a shovel
That's
though.
helpful.
Well, you can keep the sand out of your face the next sandstorm that comes through.
Keep the sun off your head.
Alright, how about, is there actually a market? I made that up. Is there actually a markup in purchasing stuff here?
No.
Alright.
No, a shovel is a standard thing.
Cool.
I don't know what the actual price is, but
I'll
you
just,
wouldn't have any issues finding one.
I'll buy what about a folding shovel? Friggin' heavy. Never mind, I don't want that.
Okay, I was like, yeah, if you're looking it up. And you don't really have any issues. You don't have to go all the way back to the market. There's some crafty merchants sitting right outside the gates of the necropolis. You know, those last-minute adventurers, you know, coming back out just like yourself, forgot something that they might need. But yeah, you have no issues just buying a shovel or two or however many you want to buy.
Oh yeah, good idea. I'll buy 3 of them. For everybody. You're welcome.
Very thoughtful.
Man, oh man.
That's probably as good a time as any to ask about the encumbrance stuff that I was seeing on this sheet. Like that's like pretty strictly enforced, right? The disadvantages that you get when you are over like into the medium load and heavy loads.
So someone else might be able to explain how it works on the sheet better than me. I mean, I can look up the encumbrance rules, but I don't know how it's enforced on the sheet.
If you've added the gear from the compendium, it'll add up your encumbrance
The
and your
weight.
weight for you.
Yeah, if you go to the additional tab and put it under gear, it should show your total weight and then your loads underneath that.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I just wanted to make sure that, yeah, that was all accurate and working the way it's supposed to be working. Okay.
Yeah, so you'll lose like some, I think, what, dex, maybe speed.
Stuff like acrobatics, climbing was like.
Yeah, it'll impact
yeah.
your dex space skills.
Something we do, I've done before to get around a lot of that is just keep most of your stuff in your bag and then drop your backpack when you're fighting or running, whatever you need to do. You'll lose your stuff, but you'll be able to get away.
Okay. Yeah, that would have been good. that would have been a good idea. I was just like staying under 20 pounds because that's what the light load was, and it looked brutal when you were above that. So I was like, okay, well,
Like these shovels are 8 pounds.
yeah. You said you bought 3, and I was like, well,
I'm
not
carrying.
carrying
I
the
mean, I
road.
can carry them fine. For me, it's
Yeah.
I'm under a medium load, so I'm still able to walk and stuff. But
Mhm.
I hand them off to who wants a shovel.
Yeah, I'll help dig.
Braylon will take one also.
All right, those are yours now. I don't want them back.
Okay. So there's a good bit of sand. It does take probably about an hour or so to get it cleared to the point where you're confident that, you know, trying to open these doors isn't going to be hindered by the sand blocking it. Given that, though, it is pretty warm out, so everyone will need to make a fortitude saving throw for the hot conditions that you're going to be working under while you're digging.
What about those of us who aren't digging?
You will get a. I mean,
Gritilda,
if you're
I
just
will-
if you're just sitting in the shade, like, You don't have to take one.
I was gonna say, I hand you my umbrella to use while you're sitting in the shade.
Say I got the hot weather outfit too. What does that do? +2 fortitude save.
Anyone wearing heavy armor or clothing?
I'm gonna take my heavy armor off before I start physically exerting myself.
Sure. Yeah.
So while
That
she
makes
was
sense.
going to get the shovels, I will have doffed my armor.
All right. So Raylan, Twirly save. Madeline and Rossi? Is it Rossi? You will both take 1d6. No, 1d4 non-lethal damage.
I have hot weather clothes, if that matters.
Oh, what does the save give you for that? Does that adds to your
+2.
save, right?
Plus
+2.
Yeah.
+2
Sorry, I'll
is
put that in my fort.
Here, since you're digging, I'll lend what help I can.
Oh, there you go. So with the +2 and the +1, that would let Madeline save. Rossi would take the 2 non-lethal damage. Keep track of the non-lethal damage separately from your regular health. Really, all it means is if you take your health's worth of non-lethal damage, you just get knocked out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, on your character sheet, there's actually a spot
Yeah,
for
there's a
non-lethal.
spot for it.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Oh, there is. Nice. Okay, so yeah, after about an hour of some digging and being out in the sun and getting real hot, you get to the point where you think once you figure out how to open the doors, it won't be hindered by the sand. And before you is those 10-foot tall doors. No sand.
Yeah, I'll definitely take a good break, hydrate, gather myself before tackling the door.
I'm just gonna take a look at the door and see if I can figure out if there's any way to jimmy it open or use leverage somewhere to maybe prop open if possible.
You said we could make like a engineering check to try
Yeah.
to figure out how to open it. Does
Mhm.
that have to be trained?
Mm-hmm.
I believe so, yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Then I'll have that one trained.
Mm-hmm.
Are you perceiving the door?
Yeah. Was I muted? I was looking for just like ways to create leverage to maybe hoist the door open somehow, or so I'm just kind of.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, really the only thing that you can tell is it looks like somebody used like some sort of pry tool or a crowbar or something before. There's like some scratches and stuff like that around the seams of the door that looked like somebody tried to pry it open somehow. You don't know if they were successful, but it looks like that's what someone tried to do.
I'm not an engineer. I'm a dungeoneer, but not an engineer. I'm gonna take a walk around, like, seeing that there's a door and a whole other building, you know, whatever it is, just kind of circle it, see if we see anything that way. Maybe there's a hidden latch or another door somewhere else.
Okay. I'll let you use your same perception check. Basically, it's just the actual like building itself that you're walking around is maybe like 20 feet wide by 35 feet deep. So it's not terribly big or anything like that, and it just looks like a small like mausoleum in the middle of a graveyard. You don't see any other signs, or there's no like windows or anything like that. It doesn't appear there's any other entrances.
Alright, this is the only way in. Ladies, we gotta figure out how to get in there. Anybody just gonna brute strength it?
Yeah, I mean, you might be able to get a little bit of a grip on it to try and brute force it. Could maybe use your shovels or something to shove in the seams and try and help that way.
Yeah, so it's got. Is it like airtight? Like, or can we get anything in the seam at all?
Yeah, it looks like you might be able to fit something in. The shovels will probably be good enough. You know, if you don't otherwise have like a crowbar.
Gonna make me check my pack.
Gotta make sure you have those tools.
I don't.
Okay, so I mean the shovels will work if that's what you want to try.
Yeah, I'll wedge a shovel in there. And I'll call for Raylene to assist as well.
I will assist.
I will mostly be assisting her, I imagine.
Yeah, so we'll use a strength check for this.
I can give you some aid too.
Everyone, push!
We got
Yeah,
3
I'll
shovels.
Yeah, anyone using a shovel, add +2.
I'll guidance Raylene too before we do this.
Me as well.
Rusty will do her best to help. She's trying her best.
Off to a good start, gentle ladies.
All right, so
Emphasis on gentle.
who's got a shovel?
I have a shovel.
I have one.
Raylene has one.
There you go, those 3.
Okay, so Torley starts at 15 with the shovel, 16 with the guidance, and then 2 successful assists, right?
Yeah, what's up with the failure on your guidance, Natalie?
I don't know.
I
Why
don't think
it's-
that should be there.
Yeah, I don't know. I was just looking at my sheet to investigate why I was rolling.
You didn't
that.
just drag it over from the compendium?
No, I did.
You have spell failure from wearing armor?
Oh.
That could be, yeah. Yeah, because I do have leather on.
Is it a cantrip?
Yeah.
Okay, just ignore spell failure for a cantrip unless we're in combat.
Yeah.
Okay, so sorry, counting again. Strength 13 +2 for the shovel, +1 for the guidance, and then 2 successful assists, right? So if it's okay with you guys, when we do rolls like this, we'll just go with the highest one and then the others are assists. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah, I think they did that at like Dragon
Starfinder.
Con or something. Yeah, it's the Starfinder, and I really liked that.
There's 2 guidances.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, competence bonuses don't stack, so it would just the one would just go.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Okay, cool. So that is exactly what the DC needed to be for you guys to open this thing.
Jeez.
13, let me double check. 13, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, right? Eight another gives you a +2 bonus. Yep, so 20. So that's exactly what you needed. So after a bit of struggling, you're all sitting there for a minute, just like heave-hoeing on this door, trying to get it open, and it finally cracks and opens up.
Push on heave, not hoe.
Another adventuring party walks by and laughs. I'm like, at you guys struggling, or you gals rather struggling.
Yeah.
All right. So you open up into the tomb, Kentepi.
Oh boy.
Nobody can see anything right now, right?
Correct.
Nope.
Okay. So it's pretty dark. Once you start going into the tomb, you know, there's obviously the light from the outside shining in, but it gets dark pretty quick. So anyone who has spells or torches or whatever, let me know and we'll work that out.
I have a hooded lantern.
Is that the directional one?
Yes. I forgot I had it, or I would have told you earlier. Sorry.
I did ask.
You did ask, and that was my bad.
Everyone can see?
Yes.
Yep. Yes.
Okay, this rectangular room is empty save for some engravings and fixtures upon the walls. A pair of heavy stone doors to the north, which is to your right. I don't have dynamic lighting on that. And an immense stone wheel against the south wall. The air is stale and a layer of dust and sand covers the floor, lying in a thicker layer to the south. All four walls bear sunk relief engravings and hieroglyphs, while small stone faces are affixed to the walls at about shoulder height in each corner. The stone wheel to the south is engraved with a large spiral and is set in stone tracks in the floor and ceiling. All right, so who's gonna have torches? You can drag that out on your own, or if you're doing spells, you can drag out a torch too. I mean, it's the same, right?
Sounds good. I'll light up my lantern.
We defeated a door. To meet another
Yep.
door? Is that what you said?
Another door. Yep.
These
What's the-
Assyrians really like their security, I guess.
What's the what?
What's the range on that hooded lantern?
That is a good question. Normal light 30 and increases the light level by 1 step for an additional 30 beyond that area.
Okay.
What does that mean? I was reading that earlier. I didn't understand the terminology.
Whether it's like darkness or dim light or regular light or bright light, it just steps it up 1.
Gotcha. So if I... Okay. Yeah.
that look right for your lantern?
Yeah, I guess so. It's angled at the wall, but yeah.
I mean, you got to turn your token.
Is that the only light source we have right now?
Yeah, just drag out a torch if you have a torch. Everyone should be able to do that.
How do you... Oh, there it is. It's hidden. I will aim this thing at the door.
I, for one, am glad to be out of the sun for a bit.
Alright, so we have a torch and a lantern. Now, how do we get through this one? Start looking around.
All right, and Cody, just for reference on my torch, I'm actually not lighting it. I'm just casting light on it.
That's fine. If it's mechanically the same, then
It's mechanically the same. Yeah. Although I don't know if the low light vision is built into it or not.
it is. It's just the brightness is this entire room, though.
Well, if it comes up, I can see twice as far in low light conditions. I have low light vision, so.
Well, so this tomb is unlit. So
Gotcha, so the torch
yeah.
range doesn't go past the torch range. Yeah, that makes
Correct.
sense.
Yep. Okay, so you have the door, stone door to the right on the map. There's a large wheel on the bottom wall that has some symbols on it, and there's, some hieroglyphs and engravings and things like that all about the room.
Can anyone read the Assyrian?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, you want to read the hieroglyphs?
Yeah, she'll just read it out loud so everyone can hear.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so yeah, you have Osirian, right? Ancient Osirian.
Yep, both.
Cool. Okay, yeah. So it reads, Akentepe's tomb is well defended, and those who defile it tempt the wrath of the gods. On one of the other walls, it reads, the only thing the Lady of Grave despises more than the grave robber is the unsuccessful grave robber. And then above the door, it says, turn back while you can.
Well, let's not be unsuccessful then.
Alright. No clues about opening this thing, then can we just slide it open?
I believe the clue was don't fail. Not very helpful in these circumstances.
I suspect this will be full of tricks and traps.
Oh, most certain. Has anyone investigated the door?
I don't think so.
I will again detect evil on the door.
You don't detect any evil.
What about magic?
Nope. No magic.
Can we? We'll just take a look at the door and see if it looks like it'll open easily.
So just looking at the door and the stuff in the room, there is a big stone wheel to the south wall that looks like it probably attaches to some sort of pulley system. You assume that would open the door.
Does it look like we can turn the wheel from this room?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'll come down, start to spin it.
What's your strength score?
I have a 12 in strength.
Okay. So this requires a total strength score, apparently. So it's just really hard for you to budget.
This is
Seeing
quite
Madeline
heavy.
struggle will come over and assist.
Need
What's
more
the
muscle?
total strength between you two?
16 plus 13?
12.
12?
I have
so
12.
28.
28? Okay, so between the two of you, the wheel starts to move a little slowly, but after some time, you're able to get it. As you slide the wheel, the door slides open. And I will move that dynamic lighting that I just created.
Does the door hold in place after we spin it as well?
No, it does not.
Oh, so we need to hold the wheel to keep the door open?
Sorry, maybe I misunderstood your question. When you
So
let
if-
go of it, the door remains open.
Okay, that was my question, yeah. If we need to hold the wheel in place to hold the door in place. Okay. Well, when I rose this morning, never did I think I would work this hard. I should surely require a hot bath tonight.
Or a
I
cold
think
one.
I'll take the cool bath option myself.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, so looking into the next room, you see in the center of the chamber's floor a square shaft that drops straight down into the darkness. A faint musty odor rises from the pit. A single piton, is that how that's pronounced?
Yes.
Piton?
Sure.
Yeah, Pippin.
Single piton has been hammered into the stone floor by the northeast corner of the pit, and a dusty length of rope dangles from the piton into the darkness of the shaft. Looking at the rope, it only seems to drop down about 5 feet, and looks like that it maybe either broke or got cut. The rope itself is pretty dusty and old. So it's not like, it doesn't look like this was a recent thing.
Okay.
I'm gonna bio real quick while you guys decide what to do.
Anyone have some rope?
I do.
Mathilda, bring the light closer.
He didn't say how far down this was, did he?
I don't think we can see the bottom.
Hmm.
Probably want to read any writing on the walls here also.
All right, back.
And does this rope look frayed or cut? Can we tell?
It almost looks too clean to be frayed. Almost like it was cut.
Is there anything on the walls of this chamber? Any writing or anything?
No, not in this room.
Okay. What was the rope tied to in here?
It was tied to a piton that was hammered
that was
into
in
the stone floor. Yeah.
Okay. Yep. I have some rope. I'll go ahead and I'll like kind of cut loose or untie the rotted rope, and then retie the her newer rope there and drop it down.
Okay. Yeah, the piton is still good. As soon as you like start handling the other rope, it just kind of crumbles. That's how old it is. How long is the rope that you have?
I want to say it's 50 feet, but I will confirm that.
Teton. Okay, according to Google. Would you say 40 feet?
I think it's 50.
50.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, it's 50 foot hip rope.
Okay, cool.
Can we see if that's for long enough to reach the bottom?
No, as soon as you like drape it over the edge, it just falls into the darkness.
Hey, Grutilda, you think you could light us a pebble down there?
I can assist with that. And I'll cast light. Toss like some loose stone down to the bottom.
Yeah, that way I can keep my torch up.
Yeah,
Works for me.
That's good. Light also.
Okay, so you're dropping what
rock.
like a rock that you just find. Okay.
Yeah, just some loose stone. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. You don't have any issues doing that. You drop it down, and after a moment, you watch it fall, and then you hear the clack of it landing on the bottom, and you think it's probably about 60 feet down. Rough estimate.
Okay.
And you said your rope was 50 feet?
Yeah, 50 feet. So we'll probably lose, a few feet tying it off up here too. So that's still a pretty good drop.
Well, we can use the rope that was here. And tie
I
it
have
to the...
I also have a 50-foot length. We can tie them together and get all the way.
There
Okay.
we go.
Yeah, let's do that then.
Okay. Let's do some climb checks.
Is anyone nervous about their climb check?
I am, but I can guide myself
Well,
if you're going to use guidance.
The rope
Well,
adds
I-
a little bit too, right?
yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I
a
can-
rope next to a wall is a DC 5.
Oh.
Yeah, so yeah, just in case on Thilda, I will I'll kind of like place my head on her shoulder and reassure her.
Oh, nice. Oh.
Yeah, so she will take an 11 on whatever her roll is.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
And before
Oh,
you
God.
climb down, you mind giving me that light that you just cast? I'm gonna secure our back.
Give you what?
Light.
Yeah, I'll cast light on whatever object you want.
Yeah, perfect. Let me just say a dagger. Why not? I'm
Now,
gonna.
Here, take my torch instead, so that we can still see the bottom when we climb down.
Oh, sure. I'm just gonna look at these doors and see if I can find a way to either semi-shut them so we're not followed, or give us an alert system somehow.
Which doors?
Either one of these. So if I can roll this back into place while giving us a way to roll it back, that would be ideal.
When you go to try and turn the wheel, it just seems like it's locked in place.
What about the main door?
The main door itself, I mean, it doesn't have any handles or anything on it, so you could kind of try and stick your hands, like, you know, if it was a double door, stick both your hands on the outside and pull it until your hands touch, but it's still going to be slightly ajar.
I'm okay with that. I'll do that. Just pull it
Okay,
as much as I can, but...
Yeah, but you can't really
Yep,
get it all the way.
that's okay. Just something.
Yep.
And then, as everyone climbs down, I'm gonna take my mess kit out of my bag, and at the top of this piton, I'm gonna tie my mess kit into the rope system.
Tie your what kit?
My mess kit? No, I'll do that at the bottom.
Okay. All right, I see 3 climb checks.
Yeah, I'm going to touch them all myself as well as I
Okay.
climb down. Yeah.
No problem. That's everyone, right?
No.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That DC 5, you get a little...
Yeah, early on. Yeah.
Okay, let me get everyone moved over.
Know where a skill point's going next level.
I know what hex I'm taking next.
Sorry, I'm gonna get you guys a little closer together.
Take flight, and then I'll have to start with Featherfall.
All right, you lower yourself into the room. Mirrored images of a warrior in side profile facing inward are carved on an ornate pair of stone doors in the west wall of the square room. The figure is depicted wearing padded armor with a scarab-shaped shield on the arm facing the viewer, and a raised khopesh held aloft in the other. A crumpled humanoid body lies directly in front of the doors. A hint of decay hangs in the air, and a dried stain mars the stone floor under the body. A square shaft in the ceiling leads straight up into the darkness, which is where you just came from.
And you said that's on the wall here?
Yeah, the images of the warrior, yep. No, sorry, they're on the stone doors.
Okay. That makes type of check to see if that represents something or someone.
Yeah, sure.
Or would be relative.
Do you have a knowledge local?
No, I do not. Yeah.
I can
I
help
do.
you. Okay.
Yep, same.
I have religion, arcana, and dungeoneering.
Yeah, I don't think any of those would
I don't
apply
have
here.
knowledge local. I have history. My bad.
The history might be fine.
I say we can help too with local.
So this doesn't look like it's like any specific person. It just looks like a almost as if the picture is giving you a warning, kind of like the hieroglyphs above, as if these are guards or something like that on the door.
Hmm. What, can we check out the body? See what it looks like? Got him?
Yeah.
Does it look like he fell down the hole, or?
It's really hard to say. Go and give me a heal check.
I'm not trained in that, if that matters.
I am.
Does heal need training? Okay. So the body in front of the door is mostly skeletal. You didn't need the heal check for that part. With a thin layer of desiccated tissue. It looks like it was like a male human or maybe a half-elf. And it appears as if both of the body's legs are broken from a fall from a great height. And perhaps that they tried to crawl towards these doors and just died in front of the door.
What a way to go.
Rip in peace.
We'll gather his belongings and set his remains to the side.
Yeah. So it looks like the gear that was on the body, has suffered decades of rot and rust. Although it does look like there's some metal pitons or pitons that could be usable, a hammer, as well as 2 vials of some liquid that have somehow remained miraculously unbroken, if you choose to take these things.
How do I choose to take these things? Can anyone tell me what these are? And I'll hold the 2 vials up.
I think I can try. Let's see. So an investigator can use craft alchemy to identify potions as if they were using detect magic.
Nice.
Give
Okay.
that a shot.
Let me guide you in your check.
Right though. So is this? Well, so is this one of the cases? I guess I was reading a little bit about like the taking like 20s and taking 10s and stuff.
Mhm.
Is this an example of a case where, we're not in danger, we have time, and you could just take that roll, like take that as an automatic 20 instead?
So with knowledge, you can't do that, but this wasn't a
Okay.
knowledge check, so I'm getting to that. So typically with knowledge, you're attempting to recall facts or things you've read or heard.
Okay.
So even after some time, you can't just like remember it, right? If you fail to check the first time on a knowledge, you don't get to take 10 or take 20. In this case, where you can actually, you're using alchemy, you're looking at the potion, maybe you dab your finger in and taste it, or you do the hand wave to sniff it. I would say you could take 20 on that after some time.
Okay.
So with that, if you're taking a 20, it appears to be 2 potions or 2 vials of alchemist's fire.
Good thing you did not drink those.
Actually, with trying to detect or identify potions, you can typically safely take a small sip for identification purposes without any adverse effects.
And how many
Somehow.
pitons did we find, by the way?
I think it was 5.
It just said a couple, so I don't know,
Okay.
like 2 or 3, whatever.
Does anybody carry these in a hammer? Personally would
I will
prefer.
carry them.
There you go. Perfect. I'll leave them to you. Okay. Shall we proceed? Do you care to check for traps, my
Sure.
short
Take a look.
wick?
So, and it did. So when I checked for traps, I have the trap finding, so that adds 1, I believe. Yeah, half your level, but a minimum of 1.
Okay, cool.
So,
So you don't detect any traps. Hold on, let me double check here. Yeah, so you don't detect any traps. And these doors appear to be unsecured. It doesn't look like they're locked or anything. But they appear to be pretty heavy, so it might take some oomph to shove open the doors. Nothing like 3 strength checks in a row just to get into the tomb. But yeah. No traps.
Everything looks safe.
Cool.
Sounds like famous last words, but let's go for it.
Lead the way.
Raylan will step forward and lead the way.
All right, make a strength check for me to push open these heavy doors. Oh, yeah, you have no problem. No problem pushing open the door.
What do we see on the other side?
I'm trying to move the lighting, but I'm having a hard time doing it. Why can I not move this? Alright, just gonna have to delete it. Okay, Alright, the walls of this 10-foot wide corridor feature bas relief carvings of great battles. Armies with spears and shields clash at the direction of generals, while other leaders direct troops from chariots that are ruthlessly overrunning their enemies. Engraved stone double doors stand at either end of the hallway, one obviously of which you just came through. So on the far side is a very similar looking set of doors.
Neat. I will pause here, remembering that I forgot to put my armor back on, and will don my heavy armor before we move on.
Okay.
If everyone will bear with me for a few minutes.
Yeah, I
By
can
all means.
take a look ahead too while you do that. I'll wait until you're almost done though. Now I have low light, which means I can only see up until the point where the light starts to be extinguished. Useless. But I'm gonna scout ahead and just kind of stealth up and look around and see if there's anything, and then see that there's nothing, and then come back. Because I can see the end of the hall. Is this a door here?
No.
There?
Yes.
Okay.
Alright, stop there for me. As soon as you step into that spot towards the door, you hear the pressure plate below you from your weight triggers, and a volley of darts comes soaring down the hallway. If nobody else has stepped into the room, it'll just be you that's getting
Sure.
getting hit. All right. So this will be a ranged attack against you.
Jeez.
21.
Mm-hmm.
For 2 piercing damage.
Ooh.
Lucked out on that one. So these darts just come flinging out. Maybe some of them were like old and rusted and just didn't actually do anything to you, but you did get hit by one that does 2 piercing damage.
Tetanus. What's tetanus? I'm just gonna fling out of the room. All haste. Ow!
Oh,
Yeah, those of you standing at the doorway, the darts, flew past Torley there, but just fell short of where you're standing, just outside of the room.
Maybe I should let you look for traps more often. My apologies.
I don't know. I should have taken more care to go first. I'll make sure I do that in the future.
Well, I stepped right there, and that's where it happened. So, don't step right there.
Did it look like the plate reset when she came back?
Yeah, it did. The plate went back to looking like a normal tile on the ground instead of being depressed.
So Rossi will go ahead and go in there and go, along the same path. Well, she just ran straight, so go up here and take a look at the plate to see if she can disarm the trap, or if it's set to trigger off again.
Sure. Yeah, you can make a perception check. So you're not sure if it's reset itself.
Okay.
But you do think you could attempt to disable it.
Okay.
Just in case.
Go ahead and do that.
Be a disable device. Oh, nice. Yeah, so with that roll, you're able to kind of like get your tools under there and get your hands in a good spot where you feel like you're able to disable the pressure plate from activating again.
Okay, great. And can I double check and make sure that there are no other traps around the door ready to go off? It's just the one.
Yeah, I mean you can try and examine the door itself, sure.
Okay.
Or the walls next to the door and whatnot. You feel confident that that was the only trap here.
Okay. So that she'll stand on the side and wave everyone else up. Says it looks safe now. The pressure plate's been disabled.
Well done.
No writing on the wall or anything on the door here.
In this room, is the pictures of those soldiers, armies with spears and shields, clash at the direction of generals, while other leaders direct troops from chariots that are ruthlessly overrunning their enemies.
Well, shall we proceed through?
Yes, we should.
All right, I will start to open the door and then pause and look back at Rossi and said, "You checked this, right?"
Yep, it looked good.
All right, I will push the door open.
Okay. You don't have any issues opening this door. In this room, you see a faded tapestry that hangs on a wooden frame on the western wall of the chamber. Faded and delicate, the tapestry depicts a middle-aged man accompanied by a woman and two children with a small estate in the background. To either side of the tapestry are two small pedestals upon which sit two dead and preserved animals. Stone double doors exit the chamber to the north, south, and where you just came from.
All right. Rossi, perhaps you should scout ahead, check for any potential dangers.
Yeah. So yeah, Rossi will move into the room. Yeah, specifically looking for more pressure plates, giant boulders that are ready to roll down and smush us, that kind of stuff.
Okay. You don't You don't see anything here. This room looks pretty safe.
Okay. So she'll turn around and say that. It looks safe. No traps in here.
Is this a torch in this corner?
Yeah, I mean, it's like a sconce on the wall or something, but it's unlit.
Does it have a torch in it, or is it just like a place to put a torch?
It's just empty, yeah.
Okay, got it. Well, ladies, left or right?
Hmm.
Do we think this tapestry is worth anything? What does the tapestry depict again?
The tapestry has a middle-aged man accompanied by a woman and 2 children with a small estate in the background.
Is it recognizable or just a pretty tapestry?
You can do some knowledge local, knowledge history. Yeah, with that, you believe that it appears to be Akentepe's family. Akentepe himself being the middle-aged man in the picture. Several, and with you being able to read the hieroglyphs, it appears to suggest that his family befell some sort of tragedy, possibly murder, a sickness, and he was left widowed.
Interesting.
You can also infer that the family is probably interred somewhere else, and that this tomb was prepared much later, after Akentepe's continued successful military career.
So we have a mural, presumably depicting something this person did. Now a picture of his family. I don't know, I'm inclined to leave the tapestry here. It seems like it belongs in his tomb.
The tapestry, is it mounted into the walls? Is it just kind of hanging loose?
It's just hanging loose.
Can I just feel around behind it?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's just hanging on a wooden frame, and behind it is the smooth stone wall. You don't feel anything behind it.
No seams or anything. I'm
Yeah.
careful not to like touch or damage the tapestry. I'm just kind of like inspecting behind there a little bit. Okay.
Doesn't feel like there's any, like, no switches or depressions or anything like that.
Okay.
Can I can I see if I recall anything else about Akentepe? Like just any other information, like if he was a well-known figure?
Yeah. Let me see here.
Do you like to build death trap dungeons for the adventurers?
Not so much that. But you do know that this tomb predates the Plague of Madness, which is what destroyed much of Wati originally. You know that he was a successful military leader. But that's about it.
Oh, okay. So his family died before the disease, so...
Yep.
We mentioned that his family died to a disease or something, but not the Plague of Madness.
Not the Plague of Madness, no.
Okay. Okay. And what are these the statues again? What are they statues of? Or
It's actually looks like two preserved animals.
oh, preserved animals. Okay.
Yeah, on a closer look, it looks like mummified cats. You would assume they're probably former pets that were mummified so that they could accompany Akintepi at his soul's final destination.
Okay. Well, unless anyone else is interested in those cats, then Rossi will take a look at these two doors and check them for traps if it like while anyone else is looking around the room.
And is there any inscription on the doors here?
No inscriptions on these doors. No.
Can Rossi just so like can I do the just take a 20 looking for traps on both these doors?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, she'll just take her time and carefully inspect the doors.
Yeah, you don't find anything on these ones.
Everything looks clear. Which way do we want to go?
Yeah, both the north and the south doors. You don't notice anything.
I venture that we will explore both. Let us head north first.
Okay. The door seems to be unsecured, and it opens with ease. A small stairway leads down into another chamber. A brightly painted chariot sits in the center of this chamber. Beyond the chariot, a large canvas stretches between two stone columns. The skins of several animals, antelopes, great cats, and crocodiles, now faded and deteriorated with age, are tacked to this canvas. A wooden chest, lacquered white and trimmed with gold inlay, sits in the southeast corner. In each corner of the room, a small stone shield is molded into the masonry at shoulder height. An open hallway leads to the east, and a set of stone double doors lead south. I don't know why the descriptions have the doors that you're coming from, but yeah, the double doors are the ones you just opened.
If somehow we got into this room first.
Yeah, you like dug a tunnel down on the roof of the tomb, I guess. I don't know.
Covering all possible entrances, right?
Yeah, just in case.
Well, Rossi will go down there, taking a look at everything.
Okay.
Bring that light down here. All right. Well, I guess Rossi will take a look at this chest and see if it's booby trapped or locked.
Sure. So that's a 19 total.
Yes.
Okay, so it does not appear to be trapped, but it is locked.
Okay. Does disable device work for lockpicking?
It does. It's the same thing, right?
Okay.
I think.
Yeah, okay. I thought so, but I just wanted to make sure. So she can take her time with the lock and take a 20 to try to get that open. So that would be
that constitutes failing as well. Keeping that in mind. So
right. It takes into account failing multiple times while you're working to get the 20, right?
So if there was a trap, see what I'm saying?
Right. Oh, right. Yeah. So we checked. Well, Rossi checked it. She said she sees there's no traps, so she's not worried about about fumbling with it a little bit trying to get it open. If there's a trap, then it's one that she didn't spot, and she deserves it.
Yeah, so you're gonna take 20 on that.
Yep.
Okay.
So it would
As
be,
as soon
yeah.
as you start getting your tools in there to open it, a small blade flicks out and maybe cuts you on the hand. So you did not notice this trap when you were looking at it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be a 13 against your AC.
So 17, I think.
Okay, yeah, so
Or-
you're able to pull your hand back just in time as the blade comes out to slice you. And the blade retreats back into its recess from where it came.
Rossi looks pretty annoyed that everyone was sitting there watching her, and she quite clearly missed this trap. So can she try to disarm that? The trap, I guess, specifically?
Yeah, you can try.
Okay. It's not great.
You're not sure you're able to disable it, but it does appear that it requires a manual reset, so you don't think it'll pop out again on you.
Okay.
If you open it. So if you're going to take 20 again, which now that the trap is effectively disabled, you can open the chest without issue.
Okay. Yeah, she'll do that then.
Okay. So inside the chest, it has three different potions. I'm gonna give you the potions of Cure Light Wounds because I feel like those are probably common enough that anyone who thinks about adventuring should know what it looks like. So 2 potions of Cure Light Wounds, another potion that you're not sure about. Also inside are 2 books with thin gold-plated metal sheets for pages. At a quick glance, if you just flick through it real quick, it seems to be a brief.
A brief what?
Uh-oh.
He's gone.
A brief internet disconnect.
Mhm. He's probably still reading. You there, Cody? No, we can't hear you if you're there. Oh, I see you queuing up.
Hello?
There you are.
Hey. That was weird. Yeah, I didn't disconnect, but it's like my mic just turned off. So I had to unplug my headset. Sorry. So the book was the first one with the gold-plated metal sheets for pages is a brief biography of Akentepe. In the second book,
Can you put that in chat? The name.
I know.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
spelling
yeah.
it wrong.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's part of the fun. You have to.
Oh, I spelt it wrong. Disregard.
Yeah, see. He even has the notes against spelled. There we go. Thank you.
There. That one's right.
Oh, exactly how I thought.
Yeah, standard spelling, guys. Come on. And the second book is a list and description of the various military campaigns conducted by the nation of Osirian between 2350 and 2450. Each book weighs 25 pounds.
Good God.
So keep that in mind.
What the fuck?
25 pounds of gold, baby. Well, gold-plated metal sheets for pages, yeah.
So I did not buy a backpack. can I assume that she would have been smarter than me and retcon a
Yeah.
backpack, please? Okay.
Yeah, I think a backpack is a pretty basic adventuring item you would think to bring.
Okay. Thanks.
Is anyone else carrying bedrolls? Maybe I should have left that at the end.
Oh yeah. Never know when you need to put your get some sleep in. We can gather these things by, in a specific room and take them with us when we leave, if we wish.
We can
I don't know that
just
carrying
leave 'em here in the
25-pound
chest.
books.
Also, for what it's worth, there's no like timeline. Like they're not saying they're going to close down the necropolis after like 24 hours or anything like that.
Mhm.
So don't feel pressured to
Return.
rush everything. Yeah.
That's good to know.
Yeah, we can leave them here in the chest and pick them up on the way out.
I do want to thumb through some of those books.
Yeah. Me as well. But
We shall do that when we're not getting hit by arrows or darts.
so we'll leave the 2 books. And we'll bring it was 2 potions of cure light wounds.
Yep.
And
And then
one-
another potion of unidentified origin.
Okay.
Also
So
created
Rossi will hand over the potions of the cure light wounds and the alchemist fire over to Torley, since she's sort of the leader, or the leader of the group. And then she'll hang on to the other one to try and identify that one. And she can take a 20 on that, right, to try to identify that. So it'd be a 24.
Yeah, it's a potion of dark vision.
Okay.
While you're, taking the time to identify it and take a look at it, what's everyone else doing? There is a large chariot in the room.
Well, she's kind of fiddling with the chest stuff and identifying. Yeah, I'll just kind of be like this, taking in the chariot. I'm assuming this is something we don't see running through the streets of Wati in the current day, right?
No. Definitely looks like it's pretty old.
Yeah, I'm just kind of marveling at the condition that everything has remained intact.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely intact, but it does look like it's aged. It's not like you would want to take this out in the streets and actually try to use it or anything, but it's a nice little piece.
Might sell for a pretty profit if we can get it out of here.
And you said this is a tapestry here?
Yep. It's got a bunch of animal skins on it.
What's down this hallway? Am I looking at another chest?
Down that hallway is another room, and so just looking down the hallway, you'd see, yeah, it looks like a chest. Yep. Couple in the corner as well, as you can see.
Perhaps more treasure down here. Nothing nefarious so far. Perhaps these tombs are not as dangerous as I suspected.
Yeah, let me describe this room real quick. A table displaying a 3-dimensional diorama occupies much of the north side of this room. 3 shields with different designs are displayed upon a rack against the east wall, while various weapons hang from another rack along the south wall. Arrayed around the room are 5 small chests and a clay urn.
Five small chests and a clay urn. Well, if Rossi's done checking out the potion, she'll hand it over to Torley as well and walk in the room.
Okay. As soon as you step in the room, a little bit of movement catches your eye in the 3D diorama that's over there. And there's these, so it's like a little replica of like a city or something like that. And there's like little people and soldiers and stuff. And you see 3 of the soldiers actually like running off of the diorama, coming to attack you. So this is what you see. They don't make any like noise or anything, but you just definitely notice it as soon as you step into the room. It's very, very strange. These things are pretty tiny. But let's just go ahead and roll for initiative as you step into the room. And I'll highlight these guys because they're really hard to see.
Yeah.
Actually, that should be good enough, yeah.
Hey, Cody, while we're waiting for initiative rolls,
Sure.
I couldn't find anywhere in the chat or from what I have about traits, character traits. How many were you giving for the campaign? And was it just the one campaign trait, or?
I don't know what the standard rules are for that.
It says usually 2, and then one of which can be the campaign trait.
Okay, that sounds good to me.
Okay. Did anyone else take any traits?
So, well, and maybe I didn't do this right, but PZ Gen let me do it, so I assumed it was accurate. So I took 2 traits and 3 traits and a drawback.
Yeah, if you can take an extra trait if you take drawbacks.
Okay.
Was that in addition to the campaign trait, or was it campaign trait?
2 and then the campaign trait, yeah. So 3 total. That was the Wati native was one of those.
Right, but that was with the drawback. Yeah, right.
What about the rest of you?
I had 2 traits.
Okay, I'll just add one more trait then when I get a chance.
Yeah, I just took 2.
In 2 in addition to the campaign
I
trait?
took 2 as well, just 1 and then the campaign trait.
Okay.
Yeah, one in
it's
the
2
campaign
total.
trait.
Okay. That's what I'll do then, is add 1 trait.
Okay. Looks like somebody rolled for the torch. Who was that?
I guess that was me.
Go ahead and just re-roll on your token, and I'll set it to 6.
Well, I was gonna say that the torch could have just been my token just as easily, but
Just so there's no confusion. I might get confused.
But damn it, why does it keep doing that? Get out of here, torch. There we go.
Okay.
Oh, it could progressively worse rolls each time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awful. Get him out of the way now, though. Okay, so let's get some combat musics here. Oh yeah. Okay, so Rossi will go first, top of the initiative.
Okay, I don't know what I'm doing.
Well, so these little warrior doll things jumping off of the diorama are looking extremely aggressive.
Extremely aggressive. Okay.
Yep, got their spears up, pointing them at you.
Okay. And this one is like 5 feet away, right? Like within.
Yeah, it's within range. Yep.
Okay. Is there? I don't see a disengage action. So is that not an action?
There's a 5-foot step that you can do, and then
There is disengage as well, or was it called withdraw?
It's a full withdrawal, which is a full round action.
Oh, I see. Oh my gosh, I just wasn't scrolling down far enough. So withdraw. Okay, withdraw is a full disengage, and then the 5-foot step
is
that I move
basically
action.
so it counts as your move action. You can move 5 feet without taking an attack of opportunity.
And that's your whole move, right?
Yes.
Okay. She'll probably just withdraw. So that's, like you said, that's just a full disengage, right? She can withdraw to like back here.
Yep.
Okay, then she'll do that. And I guess she can drop her backpack.
Sure.
Yep, that'll be it.
Okay. Creature number green. I lost the sheet already. Great. There it is. All right, they can move. All right, so this guy hops off the table and sprints towards. I don't know who that is.
That's Raylan.
Raylan. Okay, so this little guy starts scurrying across the floor. Actually goes like occupies your space with you because it's so small, and attempts to slam you. Basically running into like your leg with its shield to try and mess up your legs a little bit. 21 to hit.
Jesus.
Yeah, that'll hit.
For 1 bludgeoning damage.
Oof.
Yikes.
R.I.P.
All right. The second one will do the same. This one will hit for 13 to hit.
13 does not hit.
Okay. Raylan.
I will draw. Can I attack them when they're in my space?
Yeah. Ooh,
I will do
scimitar.
a regular attack.
Okay, so I can ignore all that stuff down there. Just the
Yeah, that
18
other
for
stuff.
5.
Yeah, that other stuff's if I do power, smite evil, smite undead, so forth.
Okay. So while these well, I guess which one, red or green, I guess it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So anyway, you just seem like you barely hit one of these things. But it actually doesn't feel like you did anything to it, almost as if it was made out of some material that's just too hard for you to cut through.
All right.
Okay. Is that it for you?
I will. Let me verify I can do this real quick. I will equip my shield as my move action.
Okay. And that's it.
Yes.
All right. Twirly.
All right. Can I see the one on him?
Yeah, there's 2 you see below, kind of taking swings at Raylan.
All right. Well, I'm gonna try to take a shot at it. First thing I'm gonna do is study target. Blah blah blah. It just gives me +1 to hit.
Okay.
Hit and damage, but I have all that built in, so don't worry about
Okay.
it. Pew, and just miss everything. Cool.
Yep. Yeah.
Since you said he barely hit with an 18, yeah. Cool.
Yep.
That's it for me.
Okay. The third one will hop off the table and try and smash some knees. 17 to hit.
Nope.
Okay. Madeline.
Okay. am I able, like, they're in his space, but am I able to fire upon them? I'm guessing
Yeah.
so, since it's really good. Okay.
Yeah, it'll be treated as a firing into melee.
Okay. I have feats to cover that, thankfully.
Cool. Yeah.
Alright, so here we go.
Ooh, nice. All right. So yeah, your arrow sticks into one of these. Unless you have a preference, I'll just take it off of one of them.
Yeah,
Um,
DM's choice.
yeah, it looks like it does some substantial damage. The thing's looking pretty hurt, but it's still standing. Although, of course, the 9 doesn't seem like it does the full damage that it could have, just due to whatever material these little statue guys are made out of.
Okay.
All right, Grathilda.
If they're like under his legs, am I considered in a threatened space right now?
Yeah.
All right, then I will 5-foot step back since I can't completely disengage, and I can see them between his legs, so I will look at the one that's not damaged with my evil eye, and have him roll a will save.
Okay.
Let me see if this feat kind of works, I guess. And
All right.
I will seek to lower his AC by 2.
Okay, yeah, it fails. So I'm just gonna move these guys out so I can mark them, but they're still under Raylan.
Okay. So pick one of the ones that's not damaged, and it will get -2 AC for 7 rounds.
Nice.
And also just, well, no, never mind. I already used a move action. All right, that's it.
All right, green will have the negative AC. Red is the damaged one. All right, back to Rossi. Turn 2.
Okay. Ross will go ahead and swing her sling staff and shoot one of her little bullets at the one with the less AC.
Okay, yeah.
A sling staff. That sounds cool.
Nice.
What is that +5 for?
What +5? Oh,
19 +5?
Because that's your D20 plus your just regular attack.
what's your attack bonus?
It says +5 under attack. I'm just I don't know where that's coming from.
Maybe Dex plus your attack bonus?
Yeah,
Yeah.
your dex is from your
Okay.
plus your range attack.
Okay.
Yeah, so it does hit, but that 5 damage just doesn't seem like it's quite enough to do any damage to this thing.
Right.
You'll have to hit harder next time.
That'll probably be all she does this round.
Okay. So the next 2 little dolls are just gonna keep on swinging. They're gonna be slamming their shields and attacking with their spears. That's a miss, but we do have a crit. 5 to confirm.
No.
Okay, just making sure. 3 damage. Bludgeoning. The next one, 21 to hit.
Yep.
For 1 damage bludgeoning. All right, Raylan, you're up. You still got all these little guys below you.
Can I tell which one got cursed for the negative AC?
Sure, yeah, the green one.
Yeah, I will power attack that one. That's a 10 to hit.
Yep. It's too quick under your feet. Just sidesteps out of the way. Is that it for you?
Yeah, I guess that's it.
All right, Torley. Perhaps muted. Fishnerb.
Ron.
Oh. Gonna study that target again. Still muted. Also, still misses. Oh, on the phone. Okay, no big deal. All right, that's it for you. Go ahead and move if you need to. This guy will take its 2 attacks. 20 to hit.
Yes.
3 bludgeoning.
Man.
Madeline.
All right. I'll again fire at the hexed one here. Two for 2.
Okay, yeah, it hits, but doesn't appear to do any damage. Grathilda.
Hilda's gonna move back here. She's going to look at the red one and do another evil eye.
Okay, that was a will save.
Yeah.
It fails.
So for 7 rounds, let's give it -2 on AC as well.
Okie dokie.
And then I will also. No, I don't need to do that right now. All right, go ahead.
Okay, back to Rossi. Round 3.
All right. I guess she'll try to swing at that same one again. Although you said it did no damage at all. Like not less damage, no damage.
No damage, yep.
Jeez. Well, let's just try again one more time. For 4.
Yeah, again, it just doesn't, they just feel like they're too solid of whatever material they're made of and doesn't do anything.
Okay. So I'll move over here. And then that's it.
So the crossbow did do damage, we saw, right? Or I'm sorry, the longbow.
Yeah, but it was like when I rolled like max damage. So these
Yeah.
things have some type of resistance or DR.
These two will continue to attack. 15 to hit. Okay, then they're all misses.
Alright, I'm going to power attack again. So that'll be a 12 to hit. The one that is hexed. One of the ones that is hexed for the negative AC.
Okay, you could do one of the damaged ones or one of the not damaged ones.
Let me do one of the damaged ones.
Oh, well, you only rolled a 13, so
Yeah.
that misses. Sorry, I didn't see that part.
It's alright.
All right.
And these little things are on top of him, right? Like crawling on him.
Nah, they're like around his legs. Just picture like if you guys were fighting a giant.
Just wondering if I threw an alchemist fire, would I hit him?
I mean,
Yeah,
yeah,
almost
but
definitely.
they are in his space, so
That's what I
absolutely.
was thinking.
Or her space, rather.
Will
Yep.
not do us any good. My arrows are doing diddly.
Would it be worth the sacrifice, though? To maybe do something? You don't know if it'll do something?
We'll just keep focusing on that same guy that I keep shooting at. I don't have to do it every time. I just repost it. Just keep
That's fine.
hitting the same target.
Yeah, I don't remember which one, but you hit and it didn't do any damage, though.
Yay.
Just, like, bounces off of them.
Okie dokie.
Well, we're gonna get TPK'd by action figures.
Yep. Slow. So it's, 1 or 2 damage at a time, but, I mean, TPK is a TPK. This one rolled again at 15, the highest, which is a miss. Madeline.
All right. Let's see. Which one of the hex ones is damaged?
The red one.
All right. I will take aim at that one and fire again, and critically fail.
Ooh, too bad we don't have those critical fail cards.
Yeah. Too bad for that.
Too bad. Is that it for you?
That's all I got right now.
All right, Grithilda.
All right, let's cast another evil eye on let's say the green one.
So does this just refresh it, or
No, I'm applying a different effect, so it's stacked
Okay.
separately.
Okay, same will save.
Yes.
Will save. It fails.
Okay, it's gonna take a -2 to its attack rolls.
Ooh, nice. For the same 7 rounds, or is it different?
Let's go ahead and make it 8. So I cackle as my move action, which
Okay.
extends the duration of the hexes by 1 round.
Perfect.
That's for all hexes on the board.
Oh, all of them. Okay.
Yeah.
So this one will be 8. You cast it on the first round, right? The first one.
Huh?
The first round you cast the evil eye on the green one, right?
The red one, I think. I don't know. Two of them should be at one should be at 6, one should be at 7, and one should be at 8.
Okay. We'll just do it this way. Great cackle. It was good.
Thanks.
Back to the top, Rossi.
Well, I realized that one of those rolls was the most damage she could do already, and it didn't do anything. Rossi's gonna say some encouraging words.
Okay.
But I don't. Yeah, she doesn't have a lot she can do. Cheer
Okay.
everyone on. Get those action figures.
Get him. All right, so green will attack with a negative. Is it -1 or -2 for the hex?
It's -2.
-2. Okay. 16 to hit Raylan.
No.
Okay. And then the other one. How about 17? Going up by 1 every time.
Nope. Glad I
Okay.
put that shield.
All right, yeah. These little guys just keep trying to stab at you and smash you with their shields, and they just can't get through. All right, back to you, Rayleigh.
All right. Having trouble hitting with it, but I guess I'm going to attempt another power attack. So that'll be a 15.
They have -2 AC.
Yeah, on the damaged one with the -2 AC.
So it's a 15.
17 total. Oh no, it's a 15 against -2. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a 15.
15 to hit with all
Yes.
your modifiers, not their
Yes.
AC, your modifiers. Okay.
Correct.
That is still not enough to hit.
Damn. All right.
Very close. If you're done, Torley.
She's just gonna apologize to Raylan as she pulls out a alchemist fire
Uh-oh.
and throws it. And it's a ranged touch attack. Yeah, I mean it's a splash weapon, so I'm just gonna aim in that square.
Okay. Yep. So, is it a save?
Oh wait, a direct hit? Man, that's stupid. It's not as good as I thought it was. Whatever, I'm gonna aim at one of those creatures. So, because I reread it, and if I hit a creature, it does damage, and then everything around it, it does one additional. If that makes sense. So I'm gonna hit one of the small
Okay.
creatures. If you need me to
Okay.
re-roll that, I will.
Which one do you want to hit?
We'll say, I don't know, green, I guess. Whatever one I've been focusing on. So
Alright.
that's if that hits, it's a d6 of fire. Does that hit him?
Alright, so a 20 hits.
Alright, so the
It's
initial
3
target
fire
takes
damage.
3 fire, and everything around it takes 1.
Alright, so that kills. There's no save, like a. They get a reflex save or anything?
1 second.
Or it's just AoE and they just gotta take it.
A direct hit deals 1d6. Every creature within 5 feet of that point takes 1 point of fire damage from the splash.
Okay.
Extinguishing
no
the flames requires a DC 15, so the direct hit will take an additional 1d6 if he didn't die. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. Alright, so the one splash damage kills the red one.
Nice.
Does 1 damage to the blue one, and then you said it takes an additional 1d6?
On his turn. Unless he spends an action to extinguish it.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah, it looks like you did some damage to these. And killed the one.
Sorry, we got one though.
Alright. Doing another brave, tiny action figure attack. 16.
Nope.
Man, I had such good rolls at first. Alright, that's it, Madeline.
Can I take a knowledge check on these things?
Yeah.
What would it be?
I guess maybe, I don't know, local engineering. History maybe? Like it's weird. So
Okay. Alright, yeah, I don't have anything applicable for that knowledge check then. In that case, I will just shoot.
oh, Arcana?
Oh, okay. I do have that.
That would count.
So that should be 11. If it
11.
gets anything or not.
Okay. Okay, yeah, 11 is good. So with an 11, what do you get? Like a single piece of information?
Yeah, I think
Oh,
so.
a bit of useful information about the monster. Okay. Yeah. What would you like to know?
What? I guess what their defenses are. Like, why are we not able to damage them? I guess.
Sure. Yeah. So this is like a small construct, and it has a hardness that is preventing the damage.
Okay. Yeah, so I'll just kind of yell out to the group as I take aim. I'm like, "We must strike harder. Focus your attacks." 15 for 4.
It misses.
Okay. Even with the hex and everything.
Unfortunately.
Dang.
Grathilda.
I will cast an evil eye on the blue one to reduce its attack damage.
Ooh, attack damage. All right, let me
Or,
get
I'm
that.
sorry,
will
no,
point.
not attack roll. Sorry, not damage.
All right. What's the save?
15.
15. Okay, it fails, and that's on the blue one.
Yep.
And then we'll do it's 7 rounds, right?
Yep.
7 rounds of
just-
attack
I'll
rolls.
just cackle again, so just bump it up to 8 and
And,
mark the
okay.
other ones up as well.
All right. Back to the top, Rossi.
She can't hit any harder than she's been hitting. So yep.
All right.
She'll do this total defense action that I just found.
Ooh, there you go. Just
There
in
you
case
go.
they get past
Yep.
yeah, Raylan there.
You
Yeah.
can always try to intimidate them.
Can you wait? Is that a thing I can try and do?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, I haven't found that in the list of actions yet. What
That's a
is?
skill. It's a skill check.
You can demoralize an opponent. Or oh, that's unchained. Yeah, so you can demoralize them, which can make them become shaken. The DC of this check is 10 plus the target's hit dice plus the target's wisdom modifier. Demoralizing an opponent is a standard action.
Okay.
What skill does it use?
Really?
Yeah, intimidate. Yeah. So,
Would it even work against a construct?
I mean,
Hey,
I
she'll
don't know.
try. Probably not.
I mean,
She'll
she
go over
could sit there and cheerlead some more, or maybe something will work.
yeah, or maybe she can talk down to one of these little figurines and demoralize it. She'll try. She has a fun trait. That's why I'm saying she's gonna talk down to it.
Ooh.
She's gonna intimidate it with her intellect. Talk down to this little figurine. Tell it how dumb it is, and see if it gets demoralized.
What's
So
the?
Using your intelligence modifier instead of intimidate. So
Okay, yeah, go for it.
So hit the intimidate and then just make sure your modifier is updated correctly.
yeah, I added it under like miscellaneous, so I think it should be okay.
Not bad. You said it was 10 plus their wisdom plus their hit dice.
Mm-hmm. So you don't know if anything happened.
Okay.
They are rather stoic.
Yep.
In their demeanor.
Well, that was her standard action, so that's it for her.
Okay. See if we can get a hit in here. Come on. Natural 20. Ooh, a 20, but not a natural 20.
Yeah, that'll hit.
Oh, 2 bludgeoning damage. It's chipping away, chipping away. All right, Raylan.
All right, we'll try to
Oh.
power attack.
Actually, it's a -2, so it's an 18.
18 still hits.
Okay. Just making sure.
here. I'm going to power attack. Ooh.
All right.
So that's a 22 to hit. I'm assuming a 9 misses.
A 9 does miss. Aaron, you said this thing it burns, the one you directly targeted?
On its round.
Yeah,
Like-
it doesn't take any actions to
Okay.
do anything.
There you go.
So
Takes
what's
a
the
1d6.
damage that it takes? Is that at the end of its turn?
It says on the following round, following a direct hit. So rule that as you will.
Well, it's either it does damage or it doesn't. But it does die nonetheless. I'll let you guys decide. Should it be at the beginning of the round?
That's what
Since
I would
it takes
say.
since it takes an action to do it. I mean,
I would say the time
would have to
starts
be
at
the
end
end,
of the
right?
full round. Yeah.
yeah. Because if it takes an action to do it, it would take damage before it takes an action, right? To get rid of it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, unless I attack first in the round, and then it could spin around and ignore it the next one. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, the way I
Your
read
call.
it is it gets a chance to distinguish it, but if it uses its action otherwise, it can attack and then takes the damage, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
That makes sense.
Okay, cool. All right, so you still take that 2 damage, but it does die from the fire damage.
Alright, so I'm attacking the last one that's remaining here then. With that 22 to hit. And I guess so the damage will be 8 plus 2, so 10 damage.
Ooh. All right.
And since I crit, there's an additional 2 fire damage.
Ooh.
Oh
yeah.
no, wait, I didn't crit confirm, so never mind. So
Oh
just
yeah,
10.
no confirm. But yeah, that does finish off that final little soldier.
Fire damage. What kind of cool weapon do you got?
It's
That's
the,
Smite
it's my
Evil,
faith.
right?
It's
The
no, it's
faith
my
in his deity.
yeah, it's my faith trait.
Oh, that's neat.
Okay, so you have a pile of tiny bodies around your feet. We'll end initiative there. Combat is over.
Raylan will sort of slide down the side of her shield to a sitting position on the floor and lean back against the wall and try to bind up some of the wounds on her legs.
Oh, go ahead.
I'll walk over with one of these potions we just got, right?
If you can hang on a minute, I can whip something up to help with that. Instead of using one of those potions, I think anyway. I think. So it takes a minute to create an extract, and I can create a cure light wounds extract.
Awesome.
How many of those can you make?
I can make 2 extracts a day.
Do you need any components or anything, or is this just?
Well, so I'm reading. So cure light wounds.
I mean, we
So when I
can
click
go
the
with
link,
it.
It just sends me to like the cure light wounds spell.
Yeah.
The components there don't have anything.
Is this an alchemist thing?
Yes.
Yeah, we'll go with it for now. We'll just say you have whatever components to make your, what is it? You said 2 per day.
Okay.
So-
I know most of like the valueless material components. It basically says like not to worry about.
Yeah.
And it's only like of concern if there are expensive components.
Yeah, let's go with it for now, and then just do some research, and we'll get a ruling on it from there.
I mean, like
But-
50 gold cure light.
Yeah, as Raylan is kind of patching herself up and they're working on the components, I like come over to her. I'm like kind of kneeling down, and I say, "You know, in the 4th act of Yomade, she convinced a regiment of mortally wounded knights to stay their ground, and so should you, my friend."
Oh yeah.
I had faith that Sarenrae would not let me down during the battle. It seems I was barely correct.
perhaps just the test that you held strong.
Indeed, indeed. Surely there will be more dangers as we delve deeper into the tomb. We should be perhaps somewhat more cautious. I'll definitely have this out more frequently, and she hefts her shield a little bit.
Maybe you take one of these, and I'll give you one of the cure lights. Just have it on you.
Cody, I'm gonna gather up any of the errors that are still usable as all and recycle.
Yeah. Do you know if there's a rule for that?
I think it's
Half?
mostly just kind of DM rule. I think it's usually like half of the.
Yeah, that works for me.
I can't do it. I can't pour. I can't give the extract to another person, or even like pour it down their throat. I don't think.
No, not unless you have infused discovery.
Yep, that's what I was just looking at. Yep, so cannot do
Cool.
that. Sorry.
Okay. Good
All
deal.
right, well then drink this
aside,
after all.
please.
Oh.
No need to waste a potion.
Uh-oh, I don't want to see this.
Oh, gonna turn him into a gingerbread and eat him.
Ooh.
Alright. That was 5 healing.
What? I haven't rolled yet.
It's already
Oh,
in the
can you-
spell.
For me?
It's in
Oh.
the description. Yep.
Interesting. Well, that's not very much, but there you go.
He has a 1d8. That's pretty decent, right?
Aren't you a paladin?
No, I'm the dungeon master.
No, Brian.
Pathfinder paladins don't pick up some of that stuff till second level.
Gotcha. Well, this
Yeah.
should help a little bit.
Thank you.
That spell is gone.
So where did we determine when you have a potion what the bonus is for the potion?
It's the caster level. So unless you're actually crafting it yourself, just call it the caster level of the spell. So if it's cure light wounds at caster level 1, right? So
Gotcha. Okay.
if it's cure serious wounds, it's like 3 or 4 or whatever serious wounds is.
Yeah.
I think you have the ability to create potions up to 3rd spell level if you want to, but for the sake of finding them, that makes sense to just go with the.
Yeah, just go with whatever the spell is itself. Yep.
Yeah. What's our intention with this dungeon? Do we want to continue on for a little while, or feels like we've barely gotten started?
Did we already look around this room?
Not really.
Nope.
Well-
Nobody told me.
Let's start there.
Long term
drink
is
that
we
potion.
may need to develop a better strategy than just letting you stand up there by yourself.
Oh, come on, no melee, no healer. We're doing great.
I didn't do so bad, if I do say so myself.
I'm not disagreeing with you, however, it may be a wise idea, should we encounter more trouble, to shoot and run.
Aye, these little beasties were a larger threat than we expected.
Take a shot and back up. Take a shot and back up. All the way to the hole that we can't climb out. Ah.
All right, so Grithilda will take a look at this, this kind of what looks like a war staging table, and just see if knowledge history, brings anything up.
Oh, yeah, the little diorama?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll cast guidance on myself. That's a 13.
Yeah, so the diorama just looks like it's, hold on.
I'll
Um,
take a look too.
Okay, sure. So the diorama depicts an ancient battle between the city of Wati and an unidentified enemy. So you can tell that, based on your little scribbled map or whatever of Wati, and actually I think they actually gave you an actual map of Wati to show you where the tomb is. So it appears to be Wati. You don't know what the enemy is supposed to be, and it looks like this might be like some soldiers. Oh, sorry, never mind. Yeah, so it's just a small sculpted landscape with tiny stone and wooden statues, depicting an ancient battle between the city of Wati and an unidentified enemy. I will take that other check. Since you both succeeded, I'll let you keep those checks if you want to check out. So there's also a shield rack against the east wall with some various weapons, and specifically 3 shields with different designs stand out. If you want to take a look at those as well. And I'll just let you use those checks if you want to.
Sure, that's fine.
Okay. So there's a light wooden shield on the left. It doesn't appear to be Osirian in origin. However, it appears to be similar in style to those used by tribes in the Mwangi Expanse, far to the south. That's like a jungle region in Galarian. The center shield is unusual in that it's a light steel shield shaped like a scarab. It matches the one with some of the Akintepe engravings on the doors that you saw, or the engravings that you saw earlier. And then the shield on the right is a light wooden shield, identical to the shields carried by soldiers in the diorama. The rack on the south wall holds a composite shortbow, a khopesh, and a spear, all
What
of which
state are they
appeared.
in?
They're actually in pretty good shape. They are all masterwork in quality. With the exception of the short bow, it appears that the string is deteriorated, so that would need to be replaced. But otherwise, it's masterwork quality. Those wooden shields, the wooden shield that's similar to the soldiers in the diorama, doesn't seem like it's of particular quality. But the shield that's shaped like a scarab definitely seems like it's unusual.
I like to examine that shield as I sort of lift my wooden shield and say, perhaps that would better protect me down here.
Okay.
I'll use detect magic.
Oh, the shield is magical.
Ah, looks like you got yourself a nice shield there, young lassie.
Thank you, it does look nice.
It has a aura of faint conjuration.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'll prop my wooden shield against the wall below it and lift it off of the wall and try it on.
Okay. Is Grunthilda gonna try and identify the shield?
I do not have identify prepared. I only have 2 spells, so I do have it in my list, but it didn't.
Do you have
it's not prepared
spellcraft?
today. Yeah, I do have some pretty good spellcraft.
You can try that.
Oh, nice. Okay. So is that all he needs? Is just the spellcraft to identify it?
Use it if he said he cast detect magic, so he has to focus
Right.
on it for a few rounds, and then he can attempt to identify it with a spellcraft check.
Okay, cool.
What identify
Um,
does is it adds a +10 to that check.
Okay, cool. Okay, so I am going to put in Discord the stats of the shield, because it's a pretty good paragraph.
Jeez.
Oh boy. Anyone taking any of these masterwork weapons?
Was there a masterwork longbow?
No.
Composite short bow.
Then no. And I'm definitely not taking a composite anything.
I could use the spear, but it would overweight me, so no.
We'll just add it to our pile by this chest
Yeah.
to sell, if anybody's keeping notes of the loots.
Oh, wow, spears have a 3x crit. Nice.
Shield looks awesome. Rossi will go ahead and get started on checking out the chests for traps. How do you want me to? Do you want me to roll 5 times?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, one for each. Yep.
You can start like northwest and go around the room clockwise.
Okay.
Oh wow, that's such a great shield.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so none of them seem like they're trapped. And none of them actually appear to be locked either, although they have been sealed with like a wax seal.
Hmm. Okay, so Rossi will say, well, they all look good to me. They're not locked. Someone just needs to break the seal to open them.
Yeah,
It's a
you
little
could probably
spooky,
just
but
use a small blade or something to pick the wax out. It's not like it's, difficult or anything.
okay. Is there anything going on? Can she check out this urn down here?
Yeah.
Just general perception. Does it look valuable? Is there Is there anything in it?
The urn itself appears, it doesn't seem like it's ornate or anything like that. Just a clay urn. That is also sealed with a wax seal as well.
Okay.
So you'd have to open it. I'll just take one of those checks in there. It's fine. You don't believe it has any traps or anything on it either.
Okay. Are we gonna take these other 2 shields and add them to the pile, I guess?
Yes.
What are the other 2?
One's just a wooden shield. The other one is a. Oops. Hold on. In the description again.
I think wooden shields
Oh.
cost like 2 GP. We don't really need to haul that with us.
Yeah, this one is a wooden shield similar in style to those used by tribes in the Mwangi Expanse. Yeah, the other one's just a plain wooden shield.
Oh no, there was 7 GP, so I guess we could get 3 for it.
And if nobody's gonna go with the short bow, I'll come back and pick that up. It needs to be restrung anyway.
Anything special about Meringue shields?
No, it's just a different, a non-local
I wasn't sure. Might be some
construction.
specialized shield that has a 0% arcane spell failure chance, so I can actually use it.
It's equivalent to a light wooden shield.
5%.
Oh,
Like that.
I just saw your comment about the one-upping show off. That's exactly what it would have felt like too. Grunthilda would have walked up and be like, "Oh, what's this?" And Rossi would have been like, poking, like looking around her back, and if Grunthilda was talking about what it looked like, anytime Rossi felt like something was incorrect or even slightly inaccurate, she would have pitched in and be like, I think actually that that kind of
Oh God.
knowledge. Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Well, you saw my response then. It was appropriate.
It was appropriate, and she would have just ignored it and continued doing what she was doing.
It's a good way to get hexed.
Well, if we're done in this room, perhaps we continue to explore.
We haven't opened any of these chests and stuff
Yep.
yet, have we?
Wax sealed chest and a wax sealed clay urn.
Oh, my bad.
Would would the detect magic have detected anything on these chests, or is it like targeted at the shield?
I don't remember, but it's a cantrip, so there is no
okay.
magic detected on any of these.
Okay. Well, I don't see any reason not to open them.
And they're sealed by wax
Yep.
Mhm.
instead of melting the wax. Can we-
I guess just like, can Rossi try to recall, is that like a local or an ancient tradition or anything that might signify anything specific?
No, it just I don't know, so no.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah. She
Like
does.
it's making sure
Sure.
it's seamless so that whatever's inside can't.
Yeah, maybe like to keep it
that's
airtight or
air
something.
gapped?
Yeah.
Huh? Could be a bunch of dead cats inside for all we know.
Only one way to find out. No? Okay.
I mean, Rossi can go ahead and try to open one. She'll try to open this one. Well, I guess she'll start with the one she started with. At the
Okay.
beginning of it. Or actually, no. I guess the last one makes sense, right? She worked her way around the room, so she's at this one, and she'll try to open the last one.
Okay, so in this one, you find a sack inside of it. You open it up. It doesn't take you long to, work the wax to get it to unseal or whatever. You find a small sack inside. You open up the sack, and it looks like there's a good bit of coins in here. You estimate 100 gold pieces and 42 silver pieces at first glance. That's all you find in that one.
Okay. Well, she'll just, with that being said, she'll work her way around the chests.
Okay.
How much
Yeah.
did you say that was?
I got it. 100
Oh,
GP
sorry.
and 42 silver.
The rest of the chests, no issues, no traps. You just have to work the wax a little bit. And you find some scroll tubes holding papyrus records, private memos, expense ledgers, speeches, and private correspondence. Looks like maybe it's some old documents related to Akentepe. Among the papers, just kind of flipping through them and glancing at them, it looks like there's some discussions regarding an unfinished tomb of Akentepe's mistress.
Ooh, scandalous.
There's little else of interest in the papers, but to a collector or an Osirianologist, it could be worth some money if they're returned and sold undamaged.
Yeah.
Right now, they're in pretty good shape.
Yeah, Rossi will definitely make sure that they're carefully and delicately placed with the books. But nothing else is nothing heavy is being placed on them or anything. Being pretty careful with all of those.
Oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying the clay urn as well.
Oh yeah, I guess we can open that.
Yeah, so you open up the clay urn, again sealed with wax, and it contains a almost look like an oil in like a spray bottle. Looks like perfume,
Okay.
like a perfume spray bottle. If you want to do like a knowledge, nature, or something to identify.
So So she'll, I guess since that roll's not that great, she'll use, she can use, since she's trained in nature, she can use her inspiration without a cost. So that's 1d6.
Oh, nice.
I'll give you some guidance as well for another +1.
Nice. So +4, so 15.
Nice. Okay, cool. So this is appears to be a what's called nard. It's like a plant that's ground up and mixed with like some oils and stuff to make fragrances, and it's usually pretty expensive. You estimate this is probably like worth 75 gold. Just this single bottle that you found.
Oh, wow. Yep. Put that in the chest. All right.
All right. Did anyone want to use the tiny sized spears or shields from the little action figures?
How big were the action figures? Are they halfling sized?
They are tiny, so they're actually smaller than a halfling.
So toothpick.
A toothpick.
Toothpicks.
Pick up their spear and pick my
They're
teeth with
pretty
it.
cute.
Well, they were doing
Are they
some
like
damage.
are they like shattered, or are they like
The weapons are intact. The actual like little construct dudes themselves are shattered.
oh, okay.
What were they made out of? Can we tell? Make sure they're not made out of gold.
No, they're definitely not gold. They're like stone, just
Ah.
like an unidentified stone. It doesn't appear to be valuable at all.
All right, dearies, to the next room.
So just I mean, it's 11 o'clock, 10 after 11. How's everyone feel about continuing or stopping, or I don't know what people's hard stop time is tonight?
I don't really have one. I'll go till whenever everyone else.
Same.
I could probably go to midnight if you guys want to go for another hour or so.
Let's
Okay.
do it.
Sure.
Cool. Yeah, let's do it.
Aaron, you're not on call at like 4 in the morning or anything.
If I was on call, it wouldn't matter if I stayed up or not.
Fair enough.
But no, I'm not on call right now.
Cool. All right. We'll cut it off around midnight then. All right. Cool.
I am gonna go grab a quick bio and drink. Someone can just drag my token for like a minute if they want.
Yeah. You guys want to just take a quick break, or we've been
Sounds like
going
a
for
good
like
idea.
3 hours? All right. Let's take a I don't know, a five something minute break ish, and we'll pick it back up.
See, that's what the wireless mic is good for. You just mute it and go pee.
I know, I do it a lot too. I want to stand up and walk around a little bit too. Is there a way? Somebody needs to make me a break time image for our stream so I can throw it up.
Put up a Kit Kat commercial.
I ordered Little Caesars today.
Oh, nice. I
And-
like Little Caesars.
You get
Yeah.
a discount.
Nah, I could have, but my daughter's not working right now. It's too late. Ordered it at like 9:30, and I got my food, and they had left stuff off of my food. Forgot my crazy bread and
Damn.
dipping sauce.
Little Caesars?
Yeah. Well, DoorDash is who delivers for them, so
They forgot your stuff?
yeah,
Well,
I'm back.
all you can do is get a credit and report it missing.
that's what I was doing on the phone.
Is I see a lot of I don't know, like a lot of stuff about like the saving throws against fear. Is that just a pretty common Pathfinder status effect that occurs, or is it like because like in this module, like I don't know, I guess does that make sense?
It pops up here and there.
Yeah, and also it's kind of like lumping the types of fear together.
Oh, okay.
So there's like levels of fear, which are represented by like a condition. So shaken, frightened, and panicked.
Oh,
that's
okay. Those are
from-
all types of fear.
Yeah, so if you have something that's like immune to fear effects, you would be immune to shaken, frightened, and panicked. And each of those have different, like it's a worse level, and that's weakest to strongest. So shaken, frightened, panicked
Gotcha.
being the worst one. Panicked is as frightened, except creature drops held items.
Which is pretty bad if you're the one melee person.
Yeah. Frightened is as shaken, except creature must flee from the source. And then shaken being the lowest level is -2 penalty on all attack rolls, saving throws, skill checks, and ability checks. So it's pretty brutal if you're panicked.
Yep.
Yeah.
Drop everything and then run at your full max speed away from the creature that you're being scared by or feared by.
Yeah, and you can be. Fear can come from a spell, an aura, or sometimes just looking at something that's so horrifying. You
Yep.
have to roll against fear.
We definitely had a couple of those in the last campaign.
Yeah, back when Bonar was immune to shaken and frightened condition. I'm gonna miss that.
You never know. You might get that same immunity from something later.
Possibly.
All right, I'm back.
Cool.
Be about half cup
who-
of coffee. I'll be good to go.
Who took that shield?
Raylan.
Raylan did, I think.
Okay. Cool. And you got all the info in Discord, everything you need for that?
Oh yeah, I'm good to go. I'm also gonna cast evil on that shield to make sure it's not like cursed or something. Just for flavor. I'm after reading all that info, I know it's not, but
Okay, I was gonna say I was rereading and I was like, I don't think it's evil, and it's not cursed, so yeah, you should be good. Pretty neat shield though. Looks
Yeah,
cool
for
too. I
like-
love that picture.
For first level, that's an awesome shield.
Cool. So everybody is back.
Yep.
Is Aaron still on the phone or?
No, he's here.
Okay, cool. You guys, I guess are back in this central room here, and a pair of double stone doors lie before you.
I'll gesture Rossi towards the door.
Yeah. I don't remember how hard these ones were to open.
Not at all.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
wait,
did. You
did
did
you
check
check
them
these
for
traps?
traps already. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah,
I
that's
know we
what
got
I
both
was
of these.
looking
Yeah.
Yeah. Check both doors before you guys picked one to go through. So.
Cool. All right. Yep. She'll go ahead and open up that door then.
I'll be moving
Um,
through here with my shield equipped from now on.
Not a terrible idea. All right, you open up the door. A set of stairs again descends down into another chamber. A massive mirror stretches across the southern wall of this chamber, flanked by two statues. The statue to the east depicts a tall, gaunt woman in a flowing, hooded gown holding an hourglass. The figure to the west is that of a jackal-headed man carrying a scepter or staff in his hand. Stone double doors, standing slightly ajar, lead to the east and west. A third set of double doors exit to the north. That's where you came from. Stupid description. Torch holders sculpted in the shape of bird skulls are built in each corner of the room, and a thin layer of dust covers every surface.
Okay. Rossi will move ahead looking for, I guess looking for traps as she enters the room.
Okay.
she doesn't see anything, she doesn't have a light, so she can't go too much further. But I guess she'll come up here and inspect these two statues. Does she recognize these figures? I don't know, like if they're gods or.
So
like
you
that?
don't notice any traps or anything like that, but you can make a knowledge religion to try and identify the statues.
Oh, that's okay. She's not
I'll assist as well. Or I'll can do that.
Yeah,
Yep,
anyone
she
who
is.
has it.
not trained in religion.
Nope. Foreign to me.
Okay.
I'm somewhat religious.
Somewhat. Is that guidance going to Raylan, I guess?
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool.
We could pretty much say it's going to anybody at any time they're rolling a skill.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, so the eastern statue is of the goddess Pharasma. And the western statue is a picture of the god Anubis, who's the ancient Osirian god of burials and tombs.
Ooh. And what was this thing in the middle?
A mirror, a giant mirror.
Oh, cool.
You notice as you're looking around the room, you kind of glance up at the mirror, and you notice that anybody else who's standing near you as well, looking at the mirror in the reflection, you see a reflection that's not actually you. It appears to be similar to those images of Akhnetepi and the other pictures and tapestries that you've seen. Basically, a human man with bronze skin, probably in his 40s, with white ceremonial robes and a headdress, looking back at you in your reflection, and everyone else looks at the same man in the mirror.
That's pretty fucking weird.
I'm going to detect the evil on that mirror.
You don't detect any evil in the mirror.
I'll detect magic on it.
Yeah, it's magic.
I'm gonna go ahead and check the two doors for traps while we're looking at this stuff.
Sure.
Left
The
hand
mirror
on
has
the
a
right one.
go ahead and roll. The mirror has a faint illusion and transmutation aura.
Okay. I'll convey that. I'll be like, there's something arcane nature of that mirror. Obviously, it has some trickery of illusion.
Grithilda, you can't tell what type of magic it might be.
I think you might have mentioned it, but the sconces in the walls, are there torches mounted in those?
It's just torch holders. There's no actual torches.
There's no torches in there.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I would be like lighting those as we went, but
You don't detect any traps or anything on these doors, Rossi.
Okay, that roll was for an inspiration, so I took that off.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
She can roll. She can try to one up Gruntilda again.
Yeah, even with that exceptional roll, you have a hard time trying to understand what kind of magic this is outside of it being illusion and transmutation. Or
I kind of see it as you guys like discussing that amongst yourselves. Trying to determine what it is.
Pretty weird.
Does anyone just like sit and stare at it for a while?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
You mean these people studying it magically didn't sit there and study?
Yeah.
Focus
I mean,
at
we
it?
would have been like sitting there talking about it for a minute or two, right?
I mean,
Okay,
studying
well.
it, not necessarily looking directly at the reflection, but
Yeah, I
looking
was studying
around it and
magical energies.
looking
not-
at the auras.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not gazing lovingly into his eyes.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure that no one wanted to get a buff, but okay. No big deal. Okay, yeah, but the doors don't seem to have any traps or anything like that.
Okay. We'll just go this way.
Going to the left.
If no one's doing anything else in here.
Trust your judgment.
Okay. Um. Okay, yeah. Yeah, you don't have any issues opening the door. Give me 1 second to get this out of the way. Okay, so you open the door, and a flight of steps gradually descends to the west down this passage. Halfway down the stairs, small holes and burrowed tunnels riddle what remains of the passage's southern wall. Earth and sand have spilled over the collapsed masonry, covering the stairs with dirt and rubble. Stone doors engraved with a golden scarab, its wings open beneath a golden sun, stand at either end of the stairs.
Okay. I mean, she'll go ahead and move. Well, is it pretty easy to get through there to the other stairs, or is it like so collapsed that we can't get to the other side?
No, I mean it's just so in this case it would just be like difficult terrain to get through.
Okay. Well, she'll move through and then check the other door for traps.
Okay. You don't feel like there's any traps on that door.
Okay. If everyone's still following, she'll go ahead and open the next door.
Mm-hmm.
So nobody's following?
Yeah, I will
Yeah.
cautiously come down.
Yeah, she
Okay.
She gives the okay. I'll head along too.
Yeah, yep.
Eyeing those cracks nervously.
This tomb extends deeper than I thought.
Okay, and just as you start opening the door, Madeline back there, you notice the sand starting to like shift below your feet there,
Mm-hmm.
and begins to like coalesce into like what appears to be like a sand snake almost. And it rears up and is going to attempt to attack you. This all kind of happens very quickly as you're like, kind of the third or fourth one down walking through the sand here. So we'll do a surprise round, but I'll give you a perception check against its stealth to see if you notice it and see if you can react before it pops up.
Sure.
If I can find this thing.
A sand snake hiding in sand. I'm sure it's not stealthy at all.
No, not at all. There you go. All right, so it is going to get a surprise round. And we're going to roll for initiative and get into combat here. Oops.
Oh, what is that?
That's the creature I described.
Yeah, I missed the description. It looks like a sheet, like a spooky ghost.
Oh no! Basically, the sand below Madeline's feet just kind of coalesced and formed into like a serpent for a moment, and attacked.
Oh.
This creature appeared to be hiding in the sand at the center of the stairs at the bottom. All right, I think everybody has rolled. Okay, looks good. So the surprise round, nobody knew that it was there. You failed your perception check. And it will take its one action to bite you for 19 to hit.
Yep, that's good.
For 6 damage.
Okay.
And we will start round 1 with Rossi. You hear behind you like the sand shifting and maybe Madeline like yelping in pain or something.
Okay. Yeah, she'll whip around. The check to like check for weaknesses, is that was that class specific, or is that something that she can do as well?
So it's a knowledge check.
Knowledge.
Based on the type of creature that it is.
Okay.
And let me check real quick. What's this is considered?
Like nature, if it's a natural creature.
I don't think it's nature. Hold on. What is an? Yeah, let's just go with nature.
Dungeoneering.
Dungeoneering?
Oh, I don't know what it is, so I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, I don't. Its type does not fall under what I'm looking at for monster lore. It's an elemental, extraplanar.
Sounds like planar then.
Okay. My roll's the same for nature or plane, so
Okay, cool.
so 27.
27, damn. Okay, so it's 10 plus the monster CR. You beat it by 15. So you get three things. 3 pieces of information.
Okay. I mean, she'd want to know if her like bludgeoning bullets will be able to damage it.
Okay,
and I
so
guess, or is it just
types
random pieces?
yeah, so this would be like
Oh, gotcha.
defensive abilities, weaknesses. I think you can ask specifically its HP, AC, how fast it can go,
Okay.
those types of things.
So,
So 3 of those.
you said defenses, AC, and HP, I guess.
I'm sorry, say that again.
Defenses, AC, and HP.
Okay, defenses, it has DR 5, so damage resistance 5, bludgeoning, which means bludgeoning would bypass that. Its AC is 14, and its HP is 19.
Okay, so she'll communicate that. However, she could communicate that. Mention that, tell everyone that bludgeoning damage should be more effective to it, right?
Yep.
Which is good because that's what her bullets are. So, is that a standard action to do that, or is that like a
I think it's a free action.
free action?
Yeah.
Okay, then she'll attack it after that with her staff, with her sling. Which should miss.
Yep. Would miss. Raylan.
Is the creature occupying all 4 of those spaces?
It is.
Okay, I'll move up to here, I guess, trying to put myself between as much of the group as possible, and then, I guess I will. I don't know anything about this. I will power attack with the scimitar, so an 11 to hit.
Um, 12 is not.
It should be an 11.
Yeah. Oh, 11. Yeah. Still. Yeah, just it's shifting around. It's moving too quickly. It's tough to land a blow. Grathilda?
Oh, let's see. Grathilda will 5-foot step here. And cast an evil eye on the creature.
Ooh.
So 15 to save.
Right. It will save, right?
Yep.
Fails?
And let's give it -2 to attack.
7 rounds again?
Yes.
Okie dokie. Madeline, Torley, if you're done.
I'm just gonna shoot a bunch of sand.
Yep.
Alright, let's study this target. And if
Oh,
I
you
do my
study it.
if I do my own knowledge, I don't know, I have dungeoneering. Does that help me with this?
No.
Alright, so I'm just gonna shoot it then. 18 for 7.
Okay. Yeah, it's resistant to anything but bludgeoning, so it doesn't quite do the full damage.
Yep. Okay. That's my turn.
Madeline.
I am going to withdraw.
I was trying to look up the rules for withdrawing from a large-sized creature.
Yeah. Not entirely sure how it works, but
Apparently, it's very ambiguous.
yeah.
I'll put what I found in chat for the best answer.
Yeah, I'll let Cody rule on that.
What's the question exactly?
So withdraw only lets you move out of the first threatened space, but when you're around a large creature, you have to move into a second threatened space. So I was looking up the same thing, so I was gonna do that. But the question is whether or not all the spaces are considered threatened, and therefore you're immune while you withdraw or not.
I mean, it does threaten all of the spaces around it. I mean, that's not in question, right?
Right.
The question is whether you can continue moving through additional squares to get no AOOs.
Well,
Yeah.
and the withdraw thing says if during the process of withdrawing you move out of a threatened square other than the one you started in, enemies get attacks of opportunity as normal.
But I think that's designed to say, like, say you're withdrawing and then you pass a second enemy, they can get AAOs.
No.
Very
Right.
strange.
So
I
yeah,
mean,
it's very ambiguous.
It's allowing you to 5-foot step but take your movement is the way I feel like it's trying to, like, you're running without taking an AOO, right? Instead of just stepping away from it a single square.
Right.
Yes.
That's the way I feel like. I mean, if it's saying another threatened space outside of the first one that you move through, you take AOOs. It doesn't matter which creature it is. Because we all know in Pathfinder, if you circle around an enemy, you take attacks of opportunity. So I would say that counts here as well. Right?
Yeah.
No objections?
That seems rules as written.
Yeah. I think if the spirit of the rule was to let you go without any AOOs at all, it'd be explicit in that.
That's why I ended up 5-foot stepping where I did.
Okay. Cool.
Okay.
I mean, you guys want to...
You could still withdraw. I guess you would just take the... Well, depending on where he was going.
Yeah, I mean,
what's
at that
what's
point,
the
though, you might
point
as
of
well just do
withdrawing?
normal movement.
Yeah.
Well, it'd be the difference if well, no, the creature can't take more than one AOO on the same.
If he's at the corner of the enemy where he can get away, obviously the withdrawal makes sense. But if you're running through or around the enemy with your withdrawal, it's pointless. You might as well just move.
Yeah. Okay. In that case, I will just 5 foot to there. And I will switch out my weapon for my long spear. Some action.
Okay. The creature. First person that it's near. Just gonna be... Well, I guess it could be either of you. Let's do a... it's gonna be Raylene.
Let's get it.
All right. It is going to kind of form back into a snake, like a sand snake, and bite out at you. 14 to miss.
Yep. Is that with the -2 too?
No, that's not with the -2. So that would be 12. All right, back to the top.
Okay, Rossi's just gonna swing her sling again. And miss again.
And miss again.
That's it.
All right, Raylan.
Power attack. So that'll be a 17 to hit.
17 is good.
Okay, so that'll be 6 total damage. Oh man.
6 total. slashing.
slashing
So
damage.
just the 1 damage.
Yep.
You cut a small slice of sand and it just like fills itself back in basically.
All right.
All right, Grithilda.
Well, let's get another will save.
All right, another will save. 18.
18 is good,
Okay,
but it will still be affected for 1 round, regardless of the save.
cool.
And I will place a -2 to its AC, and I will cackle, extending that to 2 rounds.
And extends the other one back up to 7 rounds, right?
Yep.
Nice. Gotta love the witch. Torley.
All right, we're just gonna keep doing it. Seemed to be working. Ish.
Ish, yep.
10. Whoops, I didn't mean to hit it again. A 10 for 10.
10 for 10. Misses.
Cool. Turn.
Madeline.
I will poke at it with my spear. 19 to hit for 8.
18 is good. For 2 damage. Looks like it does 2 damage. Oh, you have reach with that thing. Nice.
Yep.
Ooh.
Okay, it will. Whoa. There we go. All right, it'll attack Madeline. Forms back into a snake. Rears up to bite you for 23 to hit.
Yeah, got me.
For 7 damage.
Damn. Okay, I'm at -3.
1 down. 4 to go. Rossi.
Damn. So can she like stop and stabilize?
If she
Not sure about doing that in combat.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, then she will just swing her sling. Maybe get a hit this time. 22 to hit for 4, bludgeoning.
22 for 4 is good. It's looking hurt. As hurt as a pile of sand can look.
Oh man, that's it.
All right, Raylan.
All right. Power attack. 15 to hit.
2 AC.
Yep, that's good.
Okay, 7 total slashing.
7 total for 2 whole damage.
Oh yeah.
The creature shudders at every swing. It's getting weaker. Grithilda, now's your chance.
All right, Grithilda's gonna whip out her light crossbow and take a shot. Ah, you didn't know I was packing, did ya?
Ooh!
Damn.
Damn!
Look at
Wow!
that.
All right.
Holy
Crits.
crap.
Confirmed. She wasn't kidding, was she?
Oh,
All right.
Damn.
With
Your one
that,
attack roll.
yeah. So the crossbow bolt appears to strike this thing as true as you can get, and the sand just kind of like drops down and scatters across the room, no longer in its formed up, looking like it's attacking you. And it dies.
I'll take a look at Rossi and kind of smirk. And then I'll use my other spell slot, well, my special spell slot, and cast a good berry.
You have good berry?
I do, thanks to a alternate racial trait that allowed me to take some druid stuff.
Nice.
Let's see. Oh, actually, never mind. I'm gonna have to pick a different spell. Apparently, good berry in Pathfinder does not summon berries. It makes freshly picked berries magical.
Ah. Interesting.
So, we'll put a pin in that. I'll fix that later. Never mind. I guess we'll have to dump a potion down down her throat.
Okay. Are you guys using a potion?
Do we have another
Yep,
potion?
I do. I can feed him one.
Let me try something first. Let me just roll a check anyway. I'm not sure how stabilizing works with a healer's kit, but I do have one. And I'll cast guidance on myself. Oh yeah, no, I critically failed. I can't stabilize it. It actually killed him.
She dies. Yeah.
Medical malpractice.
Actually, for real though, are you trained?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's second edition. Okay, never mind.
If you fail the check, the character loses a hit point.
That was essentially how it was for 2E.
Oh really? I didn't know that.
So yeah, take that 1 HP. Might as well make a con save while we're at it.
Okay.
Who goes in order? Do I go before or not?
Con save's fine.
There you go. Get yourself 8 healing back.
Where do you guys read that it takes damage?
I don't know.
'Cause I don't see anything about that.
I don't have any more, in case you guys are wondering.
So that was a cure light wound. Oh, that was the potion you had?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I don't think you take a HP of damage.
Yeah, I think that was the 2E rule.
I'll add a hit point back.
Anyway, yeah. So you would stabilize with the potion.
Fort
And,
save.
yeah. All right. It's nearly midnight.
Oh yeah.
Guess we move back over here. Well, no, we can stay exactly where we are.
I
Wanna
think
stay
we
up there?
should,
Retreat
since
back.
two of us are now injured, yeah, I think we should retreat back and take some of the goods with us that we found, sell them off, perhaps buy some gear, and come back after we've had a chance to recover.
Sure.
Yeah. We
Okay.
found a little bit of gold and silver too.
Okay, so you guys are gonna pack up and go back to town? Or
Yeah, I think so. We'll use the ropes to haul the treasure up.
Yeah, there was nothing too big, right?
There's 2 books.
2 books, a couple
25
shields.
pounds.
Yeah.
Put them in your backpack and carry them up, right? It'll be okay.
Yeah.
I can carry a little extra weight.
Yeah, I could carry one if need me to. Just to split them up, maybe.
I mean, either way, it sounds like as long as we get out of here, we can carry everything out.
Yeah.
Even if we take our time, use a backpack and just somebody hoist a rope up and down as somebody fills it at the bottom. We can get what we need.
Rossi would definitely want to not immediately sell any of the documents related to Akintepi. So we have a chance to read through them.
I'd actually like to read those as well.
Yeah.
On that note, are we using the correct Pathfinder rules where you regain 1 hit point per level per 8 hours I guess 1 day's rest? Because if so, we'd probably have a few days to go through all of that information while a couple of us regain some hit points. Otherwise, I guess we could wait like 2 days and get like some healing spells in on the first day and then go back out the second day at full.
Yeah, I mean, I think we should use the actual rules for healing.
Yeah, that's fine by me.
Oh,
But we don't have any
Um,
healing spells. We're just gonna have to.
Well,
What?
we can use some of our loot to purchase a wand of Cure Light Wounds for 750 GPs.
Right, yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, we rest, and then Gruthilda will have a healing spell the next day, and then, you know, I'll be, after a day's rest, I'll be pretty close to full, and so if we use that on Madeline, then, you know, did anyone else take damage?
No.
Yeah, I don't think anyone else took damage. So yeah, if we use that on Madeline, then we could rest 1 more day and go in. I'd be down 2 hit points. Everyone else would be full, and we'd have all our spells and whatnot. So.
I'm down 2, but 2 days is enough for me.
Yeah. Oh, I'd actually only be down 1 instead of 2. So.
Okay. This is always something we can just discuss in Discord as well, since there's no. I mean, it's going to be a few weeks before we get another game going, so.
What? I thought this was an everyday game.
I mean, yeah, we can play tomorrow if you guys want. I've got it all prepped. I've got the entire first book prepped, so.